Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Oz, the Crypto Goat, and you are live here in the Ledger Lounge. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube or on Twitch, pre-recorded, glad to have you. Glad to have you here, guys. I understand that everybody can't always make the live shows, so we are now broadcasting our live shows on Twitch and YouTube for your viewership, so that way you guys never miss a price point, never miss any of the news. You know what's going on every single day. So don't forget to check out, that's Oz the Crypto Goat, all lowercases, no spaces, on Twitch and YouTube. You can also find me on TikTok. That's at OZZY12233504. And don't forget, that is also the Cash App and Venmo. If you guys want to contribute to the show, you can contribute to OZZY12233504 on Cash App and Venmo. All your donations are greatly appreciated and go to help support the staff that does work here. We have a fact checker that goes through the news, and journalist to fine-tooth comb and fact-check everything that we talk about, so that way all of our information is well vetted. We also have an IT guy that comes and he's setting up the show, and he's working on different projects and things, and helping to post to all these different platforms. And we also have me as well. I am reading the charts, I am posting the memes, and I am doing the show 4 to 5 hours 5 days a week. So it is a lot of work, and we do have a lot of people. I am also working on hiring somebody to do graphic design. So if you are interested in doing some sort of graphic design, send me a DM, and maybe we can work something out. I am looking for someone to create logos and to create memes and things like that. I do have a vision in mind, but also you are open to your own creativity. So if you are looking for helping out either through donation or looking for a position in the show, that is available. So if you are good with doing that kinds of thing, there is a position available. So please submit your resumes on TikTok or on Twitch. You can send a whisper on Twitch, or you can send me a direct message on TikTok. Just make sure the first word you put, so that I see it, it says resume. So I can filter through all the nonsense, because I get hundreds and sometimes thousands of messages in one day, guys. So if you are interested in that position, please reach out to me, and we can try to work out something, okay? Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you here. We are live on Twitch. Don't forget, that's Oz the Crypto Goat, all lowercases, no spaces. If you want a more quality professional show, come on down and watch it there. Otherwise, we are also on TikTok, if you don't mind having a giant sticker in front of your screen. How's everybody doing today? I'm feeling a lot better. I just had my teeth done recently, and so I've kind of been in a lot of pain. So yesterday's live was a little short, and then we didn't have one the day prior to that. So we are back on regular schedule now, feeling a lot better. And we have a lot of news to cover today, guys. Oh my goodness. There's a lot going on. And as far as the charts go, man, I'm starting to feel temporarily bullish. Temporarily. In the meantime, and that's because I'm factoring in moon cheese. If you were to ask me on, any given day, I would say we're overall bearish. However, everyone seems to be bearish in the news. That makes me want to be bullish. And what the charts are showing me now is a small temporary bullish sentiment. So, not financial advice, but I'm tempted to get into the market. It is a very risky trade. However, we haven't been receiving any revenue from TikTok or Twitch. And so pulling in a couple of bucks may be beneficial to the show. So, but I don't want to trade on, you know, based on the fact that, you know, I'm trying to make some money off of it. I try to make smart trades and not risky trades. So I don't want to do something if I feel like it's going to be risky. So keep that in mind. I'm still holding stable coins. I'm kind of waiting to see, but I have a feeling that we're going to have a good either rest of the week or next week. And I feel like everything is off. We've been pumping on Saturdays and Sundays somewhat, not really pumping on Sunday, but we had a slight sell-off. But we had more of a pump on Saturday than anything. So I do feel like things are off. The timeline's off. Things are changing. Normally we get that Sunday sell-off, weekend sell-off kind of vibe. But I feel like the charts are saying otherwise. And also, it could be the case. It could be the case still that we get that weekend sell-off, that we get that pullback. However, I think that we would get some kind of a pump. Now, according to the charts, it does show that we could be somewhat bullish in the short term, and then we would pull back again and continue to form this shoulder right here. But it could just end up, you know, we get through the weekend and then pow, move up. But there is room for us to, you know, move up to 215, 220, and then come back down again and consolidate some more. So that is within the realm of possibility. And, you know, because of the tariffs, expect that volatility. Expect the volatility, guys. And with volatility comes money, guys. Volatility brings money because we are smart traders and we are paying attention to the news. So that gives us a leg up. Okay. We're not going to feed into the FOMO. We're not going to make emotional decisions. We're going to stick to our game plan and we're going to be patient. Okay. And that's how we make money. All right. Bear with me for just 1 second. I will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Just a quick pause. The show starts at 5. We started a little bit early, but I am having a slight technical issue. What's up, Henry? Welcome, 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 everybody. And don't forget, we are live on Twitch. That's Oz the Crypto Goat. All lower cases, no spaces. Henry, thank you for the goat. And the lightning bolt. Thank you very much. And don't forget, we are on Twitch if you want a more professional viewing experience. Give me just 1 second, guys. I completely left my water. I got to have some kind of water to drink when I'm doing this show. So bear with me just 1 second. SpaceX is going to fund the Golden Dome. That's a rumor. It should be Lockheed Martin, and even if it is SpaceX that funds it, that would probably be just one aspect of it, maybe on the technical side. I'm on Twitch simulcasted with TikTok. So I'm live on Twitch the exact same time I'm live on TikTok, but TikTok's show is a little bit shorter. I'm on Twitch at the same time. So, Big Baller, basically what you need to know is Lockheed Martin makes the missiles and missile defense portion of the Iron Dome. I would imagine that if SpaceX took over some part of the Golden Dome aspect of it, it would be more along the lines of technical infrastructure than the missiles that are built for the defense system. So that would be the difference. And more than likely, it's going to be subcontracted out through multiple parties, multiple different places. And, you know, there may be a bit of a clash with SpaceX doing that, considering all the other things that they're working on. But it's a possibility. I haven't heard anything recently, but I do know that Lockheed Martin is directly working with the Iron Dome. So I would imagine that they already have the technology and the infrastructure to build those certain aspects. So it would make sense for Lockheed Martin to continue to do that even in the US for the Golden Dome. Bear with me just 1 second. I'm going to grab my water. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. In the meantime, chat it up. Talk to each other amongst yourselves. We don't have a Discord yet, so it's a great time for everyone to talk about it. More nukes, more nukes, more nukes. I doubt we're going to be using nukes. It'll probably be more like missiles, you know, than nukes. And even maybe if they are nukes, their payload is probably going to be much smaller compared to what we've seen in history with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It would probably be something more scaled down. We have more technology now, and more than likely we won't even consider nukes, or other countries will, because there is defenses beyond our fathom, our wildest dreams that we could imagine. Donald Trump just said it the other day that we have technology that nothing you could ever imagine is being produced in the technologies that we have. We had a scientist come out that works in that department state that we can actually manipulate space and time. A lot of crazy technology is being released, and you guys have to understand that in 2020, Donald Trump signed the release of Suppressed Technologies Bill, which means all suppressed technology since 2020, or excuse me, since in 2020 it was signed. Since World War II, we have been developing and producing technology and suppressing it. Now we have the release of Suppressed Technologies Bill that was signed in 2020, which allows all suppressed technology to be released and implemented into society by 2025. And that's where we're at now, ladies and gentlemen. So the world will be unrecognizable by 2030. It will be beyond what you can imagine. And that's why I think UBI is coming and all these different things. I will be right back. I do need a drink of water. We will get started in just 2 minutes, guys. Hang with me. In the meantime, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends, and talk amongst each other, guys. Don't just be flies on the wall. Conversate, communicate. That's how we build community here, guys, is by reaching out and connecting with one another, bouncing ideas off one another. That's how we grow. And don't forget, sharing the show. Share the show with your friends, your followers, your family members, your co-workers. Get the word out there because the FOMO is real, okay? And we need to help wake people up to understand what is actually going on in the world, not just in the financial sector, but also in the government sector, in the world sector, in the grocery sector. All these different areas are being affected right now, and we have to start preparing ourselves because they do want us to live in the pod and eat the bugs. All right, all right. I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that short little intermission there. How's everybody doing today? You guys ready for Easter? Easter's coming up. The Easter bunny's about to come and poop all over your lawn. Little colorful eggs with candy in them. A bunch of little Easter bunny poops all over your yard for your children to go collect. Honestly, I think right now every crypto is an easy short. Everything's going to short somewhat. Max 6, thank you for the GGs. Appreciate having you here. How's everybody doing? We're coming up on a holiday weekend, and mind you, Monday is a school holiday. I haven't decided if I'm going to go live yet or not. Probably more than likely should be going live on Monday. Unless if I do go live, it'll be a shorter one. We'll see. I'm kind of playing it by ear. But remember, weekends, I will not be going live. So Friday will be our last live. And for those of you that are subscribers, I will not be answering messages on the weekends now. I do need to have a little bit of time to myself. Poly Boys, good to see you. XRP has lagged behind all the other coins, tiny pump. Yeah, and I think that's because we kind of got the pre-pump, but I'll tell you what, XRP has been very resilient through all of this. It's pretty magnificent. The sentiment behind XRP, people believe that it's going to do, if you ask me, outlandish things, and there's a lot of fake news that's causing that, but you know what? It's worth what people are willing to pay for it. I don't think that it's going to serve in the aspect of the proposal that's on the SEC website. Mind you guys, that's just a proposal that has no connection to the SEC whatsoever. And I think once people find out and realize that that is not the case, we're going to see a major losses in XRP. But in the meantime, the sentiment is that XRP is the one all be all, the king of crypto that is uncrowned, all these different things, and that will pump the price. I'm behind the notion of near-term news pump. That's what I think so too. I think there's going to be some kind of deals with certain countries coming out that's going to start pumping. And mind you, there's 80 plus nations that have to come up with deals, and there's multiple nations that are not even coming up with deals. They're putting reciprocal tariffs up. So the whole tariff sentiment is going to be a long-term thing. However, I think if some sort of country, one at a time even, they come out and they're like, oh, this country made a deal and that country made a deal, it'll be short-term little pumps and to kind of keep things going. Henry, thank you for the goats. I do have to take it easy on doing the goats, guys, because ever since I got strep throat, I've been having a hard time doing the goat noise. So I do have to take it easy on that. And I need my voice. My voice is how I continue to do this show. So we have to be mindful of the voice. But if you send goats, I will give you at least one goat. Much appreciated. And don't forget, guys, we are on Twitch. That's Oz the Crypto Goat, all lower cases, no spaces. If you haven't joined on Twitch yet, guys, come check it out. It's a much better, more quality show, professional audio, professional video. And those of you who are on Twitch, you are going to be getting a face reveal soon. I will be having the camera set up. The studio is nearing completion, guys. So once the studio is done, there will be the face reveal, and I will be on camera every single day, and you'll get to see my beautiful face because I know I'm beautiful. It's okay. I can accept it. I understand it. And I believe you all are beautiful. Every single one of you are beautiful. I just like to look at myself. That's all. I like to hear myself talk, and I like to look at myself in the mirror. I don't know. Maybe I'm conceited or something. Yeah. I'm sexy and I know it, you know? And anyway, I'm just having fun playing with you guys. So what's up, Mega? Mega's joined the live. Glad to see you here, buddy. It's a pleasure as always. Big fan. I never ever have seen XRP range within 1 penny. I'm so blown away. What do you mean range? Like it's just been moving sideways? You know, XRP is honestly, I think we're forming like a little bit of a bull flag right now, to be honest with you guys. This looks bullish, bruh. Look at that little descending channel. Look at that. It's cute. It's a cute little descending channel, possibly like a cup and handle maybe. Which would also make some sort of head and shoulders. I'm not saying bullish. I'm saying short-term bullish, okay? And if we do break out of this descending channel, this massive descending channel, then yes, okay? There is a possibility, okay? There is a possibility that this channel right here, let's see, let's something like this. Something like this, okay? I'm not going to make it all perfect. So if we break up above this, and it ends up not being just a bull trap, there is a possibility of us, you know, moving up to crazier numbers. However, selling may go away. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we'll get a nice little bull trap and it'll emulate what we see right here. Just a little pump out of it coming up here to about 235. And I would say no higher than 247. I think 252 is way too high. 247 would be the absolute top. That is a very strong resistance zone. I don't see it going any higher than that. I realistically, based off my technical analysis, what I'm seeing in the charts, I would say 234, 235, and at most, you know, 240. And that doesn't even really line up. I would say probably 235, yo. 235 is perfect. Yeah, it would be probably a wick too. I think you're right. If it does go up higher than 235, it will be a wick for sure. And I think the dead stop of that wick would be 147. Unless some crazy moon cheese news comes out, okay, then we could see a candle close closer to like 240. I just don't see it. Yes, 247. Sorry. Sometimes I get those mixed up. TikTok seller says, "What's up, Mega?" Maybe it's a fake Mega because usually Mega says hi. He may be working or busy right now, though. I know he's a busy man, very busy man. And by the way, Mega, if you are listening and you come into California, I say we hang out, bro. Let's hang out. Let's go grab dinner or something. Let's have a brewski. But yeah, guys, I think this is, you know, the channel that we're in. It's bearish, and more than likely we're not breaking out of it anytime soon. Let me see here. Something like that. I'm not going to go into too much. I'm a Jersey dog. Yes, West Coast, y'all. We are over here in Cali. I'm near LA-ish. So if Mega, if you're listening and you're in Cali and you want to hang out and grab a beer, let me know. I'll make it happen. Maybe we can do a co-live together, having a brewski. I'm sure that would be great for both of our shows. Anyway, if you are there listening, would love to have you. Maybe we can go cruise in the Corvette, hang out. AV, thank you for the heart me. I do think it's going to break up. I think, you know, we're going to at least minimum see 220 from here. Minimum 220. And then maybe come back down and consolidate again back at 205 or $2. But eventually we should break up to 235. I feel it. It looks bullish though. I think though that this is a bit of a bull flag right here, and it looks like we could be moving up, and that would complete our inverted head and shoulders. So I feel it. I'm tempted to get into the market even because it looks pretty solid. The only thing keeping me from doing it is this blue line of resistance is very strong. However, I'm banking on moon cheese and that this would make for a nice little bull trap. To break out of this trend would be such a beautiful bull trap. It's been bull trap after bull trap. I think there is money to be made in bull traps, you know, a nice little pump if we get in at the right entry zones. And I feel like that's about now. I think the low, we could go, let me zoom in here. Let's see what the candle says. As far as entry point on that one, I would say anywhere from 195 to 201, probably 201, 201, 202. That'd be your entry point, baby. But if we continue to dip through the weekend, it could go as low as, you know, 190. You know, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I think 190 would be the lowest, and we'd still be in structure. But that's pretty low. But this shoulder is on the high side, not the low side. So we could definitely hit 190 and still be in structure, I think. Let me see. 190. I mean, 190's pushing it, bro. I would say 193 would still be probably 195. 195 should be well within structure. We could wick out of it, you know, as high as like 197, 195, you know. But the candle would need to close at like 195. Hey man, I'll be in Vegas first 2 weeks of June. Come by for a few brewskis. I will be in Vegas the first 2 weeks of June. I will be in Vegas in June. If you guys want to come out, I'm thinking about doing a live from Vegas. So I'll see you in Vegas, Henry. Yeah, Vegas is supposed to be popping this summer, guys. I put a buy order in at 165. I think we can still see that. 165 is, I would say, even lower. When it does come in, that buy, I would say probably 150 to 145. Coldplay is in Vegas. What? I love Coldplay. I freaking love Coldplay, guys. I actually used to roadie for them as an audio engineer. I used to do the audio for their shows. I love Coldplay. I've actually done audio for a lot of different bands, guys. You guys name a band, I've probably done the audio for their show. They're in Boston too. You're going? Nice. Yes, I've done Taylor Swift. One of my favorites I've done is like Metallica, AC/DC, Van Halen, Aerosmith. I've done everybody. Yes, I've done Chili Peppers. I've done U2. You name it, guys. You guys couldn't name one I probably haven't done. Unless, obviously, they weren't touring while I was doing my job. But if they were on tour in the last 17 years, I did their show. Deftones? No. Oh, you got me with the Deftones. Got me there. And I love the Deftones. Got me with Mudhoney. No, I only do out of LA shows. So anything that came through LA, that was me. Who's the worst I've ever done? Oh, God. The worst? I don't know. That's a good question. As far as like professionally as an audio engineer, what is the worst, or non-professionally? Because I've done some pretty bad ones, like scum punk bands from like the early 2000s. MJ, you mean Michael Jackson? I did the after he died, the what was it called? Imagine, with the hologram. I did MJ with the Imagine. My good friend Chris has been on the setup scene like that for years. Chris Berry. Chris Berry. Is he union or non-union? Because I was union. So if he was union, I probably know. No, not arrogant. See, now you guys are throwing hard ones at me. I'm talking about mainstream, top performing artists in the world. Only the biggest and the best. The stadium-sized venue. Yes, I've done Adele, Carrie Underwood, all of them. All those big ones. Any artist that could fill a stadium, I did it. Yes, I do see a breakout coming. This kind of looks like a bull flag, guys. It looks like a bull flag, and we have an inverted head and shoulders. It looks like a cup and handle. This looks bullish. Did I meet Adele? No, I didn't personally meet Adele, but I'll tell you who is the most kindest, sweetest young lady I've ever met in my life. And Carrie Underwood is like Miss America. When she walks into the room starts to glow. She is so sweet and kind, and she treats her staff with respect. The kindest, sweetest woman I've ever met in my life. I got some, you know what? Okay. You guys want to jump down a rabbit hole? Okay. You guys want to jump down a rabbit hole? Here's some scary stories from behind the stage. Okay. Because I have seen some crazy things, and, something could happen to me because of me speaking about this. However, I'm just some random guy on the internet. But Katy Perry is suddenly relevant in the news right now, right? Okay. All of a sudden, Katy Perry's relevant. She hasn't been relevant for years. And mind you, golly, this had to have been at least 10 years ago. You don't like her? Well, I liked her many, many years ago. This was a long time ago. This is like 10, maybe 14 years ago, like when she was the biggest. Yeah, so she went to space in quotations right now. I think that's a load of malarkey. I think they went for a parachute ride. In my opinion, just based off of what I see. Me, I like to sift through and dig through the facts of stuff, and, find out what's actually going on. Yeah, more like a publicity stunt, roller coaster ride. And I think what they're doing is they're promoting for rich and powerful people to take trips into space in quotations, into space. It's probably not even going into space. It's going up into a certain, like, you know how we have the stratosphere and so on and so forth. There's a sort of sphere that is considered space, but it's not like outer space. You know what I mean? So it's technically, you know, considered that. So, and basically you're just paying for a big giant hot air balloon trip and then fall back down to Earth is what I think they're doing. The sound is gone. Did anyone else lose sound? I think NVIDIA is going to stay solid. I think NVIDIA will stay solid. It may have some pullbacks, but there is Easter shakeout, possibly, or the opposite, people sitting on their couch. But I would imagine with, you know, I'll tell you the story. Hold on. I'm trying to get into it, but NVIDIA, you know, is AI. You know, they make the processors or GPUs for the AI. I think that it's going to be solid. It's going to do just fine in the long term. All right, so the story about Katy Perry, okay, and then we'll talk about the Easter shakeout. It is possible if we do. Let me talk about the Easter shakeout first, and we'll get back to story time. Okay, if we do get an Easter shakeout, then that would fall well in line with this drop off right here, and hitting the top and then being done. However, the charts say otherwise, but I do feel that sentiment of that Easter shakeout. Bitcoin's pumping. Let's look at Bitcoin. You know what? Let's look at that. Normally I don't look at Bitcoin, but I've been watching it lately, guys, and I think it's smart to keep an eye on certain things. Look, there's an Easter sale. I think it's smart. Bitcoin's kind of pumping, but Bitcoin is showing the exact same pattern as XRP, this inverted head and shoulders. So I think Bitcoin's gearing up for a pump too, but I think Bitcoin will probably stop at about 88.5. Thank you, Henry. I appreciate you. Show that beautiful head and shoulders. TikTok seller's been waiting for it. And guys, remember, you think 92K? No way. Maybe if this is a double bottom kind of thing. 92. 92 is a stretch, bro. If it goes to 92, I say it's going to 94. Oh, AV, people want to know about Katy Perry. All right, so back to story time. Yeah, I think bull traps, we'll see nice little pumps that we can catch, and then we'll take our profits out and we'll get back down at the bottom and we'll ride it all the way down. You know, Bitcoin, same thing. I think we're going to see this kind of behavior. And then consolidation around here, forming a massive head and shoulders to drop us down. Yeah, the Katy Perry thing is most likely fake. And let me tell you something, okay? Let's go down a rabbit hole. These shows are going to come up every once in a while where it becomes relevant. And I do have things to say to you guys. And unfortunately, I have to Hansel and Gretel you guys with breadcrumbs because I can't give you guys all the information. I can't say certain things legally and for my own safety of myself and my family. But I know some things, guys. I've seen some things as an audio engineer. Not only did I do concerts, guys, I did a lot of meetings for big corporate events, and I can't even say some of the corporations. I have NDAs that are not up for another 5 years. In 5 more years, by the time this show is massive, guys, my NDAs will be up and we will have some stuff to talk about. But as for right now, I kind of got to breadcrumb you guys on a few things. But I want you to understand something, that there is something going on in Hollywood. There's something going on in the music industry, in TV and film. Okay. I can't say what that something is. Part of it's a gut feeling. Part of it I've seen with my own 2 eyes. A lot of the rumors are true, kind of stuff like that. But there's just I'm sure there's so much more to it than even I know, but I've seen things with my eyes. Okay. And I do have some bit of a gut feeling about other things. Of course, the ad starts right when you say the Katy Perry story. That's why you got to subscribe, man. Help support the show. I have to make at least $50 on Twitch in order to even turn a profit. Otherwise, they keep all the money. So, guys, subscribe. Do help support this show. I'll riff a little bit so you guys don't miss the Katy Perry story. But I have lots and lots of stories with celebrities. Jack Black is relevant right now. I used to hang out and smoke a doobie with him backstage at the Shrine Auditorium when he was in Tenacious D. Give us hints. Does it involve Sean Combs' entry for XRP at 205 and 195-ish? No. Sean Combs. No. It has nothing to do with Sean Combs. Possibly. Actually, no. It could. Vegas. Henry says Vegas, bro. I don't really do that anymore, though. I'm completely sober, and as you should be, too. We cannot condone those types of things on TikTok, guys. So please, I said Scooby Snacks. Scooby Snacks, guys. Bro is literally saying nothing. I know, right? We have to be on our best behavior. We are literally days away from unlocking TikTok Studio, and for the first time in months, I've gone a whole week without being in trouble on TikTok. So I'm trying my really hardest, bestest. Is Taylor Swift really a guy? No, she is not. I actually know Taylor Swift personally. When she was much younger and she was more up and coming, I would have considered her more of a friend. I was her audio engineer for many years when she came into LA. Very sweet, kind girl, but she's not the same person anymore. I spent, weeks and weeks with her every year, working together. We knew each other on a first name basis. And I just recently saw her, like a year or two ago at the Grammy Awards. And she acted like she didn't even know who I was. Maybe she forgot. But there was a time where Taylor and I were somewhat close, and I would consider her a friend. Now, not so much. But that's a different story for another day, and it's kind of a downer, sad story. But Katy Perry. All right, back to the Katy files. Okay, so let me just explain a little something to you about Hollywood. First thing you need to understand is John Lennon and Yoko. Okay, during the Vietnam War, John Lennon and Yoko had so much influence over the people. Okay? prominent figures in Hollywood had too much power and control to manipulate not just the American people, but people all over the world, but mainly the American people. And so basically the government at some point stepped in and said that we cannot allow this. Mike Obama, oh my God, y'all are crazy. I did, however, I never worked with the Obama administration. Well, I did somewhat work with the Obama administration, but mainly for the Clinton post when he was in office. So I wouldn't call it the Clinton administration, but worked for the Clintons. Katie is John Barnett. No, Katy Perry. I know I'm reeling you guys in on this one, but let's understand that because of John Lennon and Yoko, the three-letter agencies. I'm not going to say who. And mind you guys, if you do want to support the show, you can send your tips to the Steam Elements link, or you can send them directly to my Cash App or Venmo. When you send to the Cash App and Venmo or the Steam Elements, it goes to help support the staff and the facilitating and building of the studio. So any of those donations are much appreciated. Otherwise, I'm paying out of pocket, and we have quite the staff. Quite the staff now. It's growing. And mind you guys, I am looking to hire someone to do some sort of graphic design. I'm looking to make, logos and t-shirts and things like that. And my own copyrighted images and things like that. Making memes and stuff like that. So if you are interested in a position, message me with the word resume, and then you guys can email me your resume, or so on and so forth. We can figure it out. But I am accepting resumes for a graphic designer. Re-image the ghost, bring the ghost left arm up, giving the peace sign to the bump coming. Henry, I'm so glad you're a part of this show now, man. You are freaking hilarious, bro. I'm glad to have you as much as you're glad to have me, Henry. You are a great asset to this show. Much appreciated. Oh, thank you for the goats. The goat's coming back. All right. So back to story time. Tales from what are we going to call it? Tales from the Stage. I think I might do a special spin-off show. Once this show is bigger, I am starting another YouTube show. By the way, all these videos are recorded and you can watch them on YouTube later on. So they'll all be there. That's Oz the Crypto Goat, all lowercases, no spaces. Tales from the Crypto Goat. I was writing a book years ago. It was called Tales from the Stage, or no, I think it was Tales from Behind Stage, or Behind the Stage. Taylor from the Swift. Taylor from the Swift. Oh my God. What crypto is this? This is XRP. Yeah, I do want to do a spiritual show. I want to do multiple shows, guys. I want to do multiple shows because I do have a lot of content to give you guys. Not just, this kind of stuff, but entertainment, I have some good stuff that I've been wanting to do and release for years. I did have a podcast years ago in 2020. It never got any traction. And basically everything from that studio was stolen. So I'm starting all over from scratch, buying all new equipment and everything. You put your watermark on the coin. So I do want to do a more like spiritual show. I want to do more of like a rabbit hole show. I do want to do a show more about working in the field that I worked in, because I've worked in multiple fields, guys. I'm one of those kinds of guys that did everything. And as far as like my audio career, that has been my entire life. But I've done so much. I mean, I've built vehicles that are in museums now today. I've built stages and things and memorabilia and things that are in museums today. I've accomplished so much in my life. By the time I was 18, I accomplished more than most people will accomplish in their entire life. So I do have a lot to say and a lot to tell all of you, and the world needs to know these things. And I'm happy to now finally be recording them and saving this information so it doesn't get lost. Because one day, all that will be left of me is this show. That's all that will be left. And no one will ever remember who I am. I'm just the little fly on the wall. But I was there. I experienced so many things. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was huge, ladies and gentlemen. It was the greatest thing you ever saw. Everywhere I went, I saw amazing things, did amazing things. Everybody says so. But yeah, there's a lot there's a lot of information to give you guys. And before I get into the show, I know I'm reeling y'all along. Let me deal with TikTok. I have to prove to TikTok I'm a real person every few minutes. Yes, my kids are a part of me and they will live on. But man, there's so many things that I've done that I couldn't even share it all with my kids, you know? And, one day when I'm gone, my voice will continue. They'll be able to remember me, come back and watch these shows when I'm no longer here and find comfort in my voice. So I find comfort in that. In order to be a legend, you have to leave a mark on society and on people. And this is one of many marks that I've left in this world. And I'm so glad to be sharing it with all of you. Right now, the show is, I'm not good at writing. I'm good at speaking. So this is better for me to leave behind. But one day, this is all that will exist. And, right now, the show is much more intimate between you guys because it's not so huge. And count yourselves very lucky to be here this early on in something. Just like XRP, we are so early to the growth that is to come. So count it as a blessing to be here. I like writing if it's text to speech and the stupid chat bot actually understands what I'm saying. Yeah, I could hire someone to write for me, but why do that when I can record it? I did work on writing a book for a while, and basically all of that information has been lost. So I think this is the way to do it, more digitally. Writing gets a lot out of your head. Yeah. This seems to be what I need. I need to be able to talk to people. I need to be able to hear my own voice. This is good for me, not only for myself and my children and for you guys, but I feel like the world and society needs to hear a lot of these things, and I can't keep it to myself anymore. It's time to release the information. Obviously, like I said, I still have a lot of NDAs that do hold me back from speaking about certain things. And I will speak on one of those NDA things today and give you a breadcrumb. but I can't say too much. I can't say what company. I can't say much about it, but we'll get down that rabbit hole a little bit later. Sorry, off topic. XRP springboarding off of the 618 fib right now. Maybe let me know. Okay, first of all, I don't use fib, but what I do see is XRP has finally dropped to the 205. If we don't spring off of 205, expect to see $2. All right. Expect to see $2. Simont, TikTok wants me to remind you that you're about to lose your subscription. So make sure you deluxe subscribe, buddy. I appreciate your... So I would say we're probably going to see $2 again. I would say we're probably going to see $2 again. And if we continue lower than that, it could possibly be break a structure. So let's keep an eye on that. But today is story time. Story time. All right. Back to the Katy Perry story. So I don't remember, mind you, my whole life has been on stage, behind stage, working in Hollywood, and it all is blended together into one day. Okay. I can't remember certain days, certain time frames. A lot of that information I think is irrelevant. What is relevant? Oh, your credit card had fraud. No worries, bro. I'm just giving you a little reminder. I appreciate you, Simon. You're one of the first. You're one of the first. I appreciate you very much. So, I'm getting to it. What's a good story without buildup and anticipation, right? What's a good story without some anticipation? All right. Y'all, if you want to chat now and you're from TikTok, come on over to Twitch. That's Oz the Crypto Goat, all lower cases, no spaces. Simon, thank you for subscribing. Much appreciated. Laugh now, cry later. Oh, that's a stage reference too. Thank you for the 16 roses. Laugh now, cry later is a stage reference. That's awesome. I like that name. So back to story time. All right. Mine didn't pop up. Weird. TikTok seller, you sent gifts? I'm sorry. I don't know why I don't see it. How are we going on XRP? It's also a Drake record. I worked with Drake. That's another story, man. You want to talk, all the stuff going on with Drake, I can tell you firsthand, I know some things with Drake. But we got to say, we got to save one story at a time, But when one of you guys remind me in another show, we'll go over the Drake story. That was a fun one. Nothing too spicy like with what I'm about to tell you about Katy Perry, but I do know some things. And I know some other things as well about many other artists. And let's get back to Katy Perry. Okay. So you have to understand that these 3-letter agencies that control everything, not just in our country. Oh, I have stories, AV, that you wouldn't believe that go... I have rubbed elbows with the most powerful people in the world. I've sat at the same table and eaten meals with them. So, yes, there are very, very powerful individuals that I have been in direct contact with, direct communication with, direct access to. Throughout the last 17 years. Okay. So I do have lots and lots of information that I will breadcrumb you guys over time. And eventually one day I'll do more of a conspiracy type show maybe thing. But it's not conspiracies, because this is all like real world things that happened to me in my life that I experienced. But they all validate a lot of the things that you guys are hearing in the news nowadays, because this stuff is coming out. Later, broski. And Henry, don't forget, I am recording all these videos so you can watch them on Twitch. But they do delete automatically off of Twitch, but they will be on YouTube. So you can find the videos on YouTube. That's Oz the Crypto Goat, all lower cases, no spaces. So if you do miss the show, guys, live, you can always come back and watch it pre-recorded. And if you can't make the show, you can't make the show. But what's great about being in the live show is you get to communicate with me directly, ask questions, and get all that information answered. All right, back to story time. Okay, so prominent individuals in Hollywood have had too much influence on not just the American people, but people around the world. Okay. And so because of that, they have created a system of control. So they use, basically it's blackmail, guys. It's blackmail that they use to control people. Partially, people dive into it willingly. Some are manipulated into it. Some accidentally fall into it. And then there are those of us who refuse to be controlled, manipulated, or controlled, or whatever you want to call it, like myself. And for those like myself, you can only get so deep before you have a target on your back. Okay? And I know I do have a target on my back at some point for some of the things that I am going to say. I probably won't say everything, you know. One, I'm not a snitch, but two, like, I have a family, so I won't say everything, you know, but I will give you guys the breadcrumbs enough for you to put it together yourself. And it's up for you to decide if I'm just a guy trying to entertain you on the internet or if it's the real deal. That's up for you to decide. Either way, a good story is a good story, whether it's true or not. So understand that they use that to control people. And the types of manipulation and control that they use are quite heinous. The things that they drag people into. So it's a very evil and disgusting world. That's why I left it and chose to retire early, become a day trader, because I mean, I was making a lot of money. I do all right in crypto, but it's more like long term. But I'm set up for the rest of my life where I don't have to really work or do much. I don't really have bills, or my house and my land is all paid off. My water comes from the ground. And so I can't be controlled financially. I'm financially free. That's how I'm able to continue to pay a staff, even though we're not making an income here. That's how we're able to, you know, build. I did, however, take out 10 grand profits to start building this. When we got the Brad Garlinghouse candle right here, I did make myself a nice little 10K. So I invested that back into you guys. So they use manipulation tactics and blackmail to control those who have influence must be controlled in order to not disrupt their plans. So, and as you can know, that's basically common sense. That's why Justin Bieber is so bizarre now. I know, poor Justin. You know, Justin Bieber actually bummed a cigarette off me one time. I seen him. We were at the American Music Awards, and I'm backstage. I'm smoking a cigarette, and he's comes cruising by on a skateboard, and he's got two big ass dudes. They're like his private security, and they're just jogging next to him while he's just cruising on a skateboard. And he rolls up to me, and he's just like, "Hey, bro, can I get a cigarette?" I'm like, "Here you go." And my friend's like, "Hey, that was Justin Bieber." I'm like, "I don't care." It was really nothing to me, but yeah, I gave him a cigarette. Anyway, Katy Perry, man, that poor girl, that poor girl, and I don't know what was going on in that moment. I'm trying to remember what show it was. So Katy Perry had a show where she would ride around in a big poofy pink cloud. This was at it's Crypto Arena today. It was Staples Center back then. So this was back in old Staples Center before it became Crypto Arena. And that's kind of how I got turned on to crypto. I mean, I knew about it before that and was kind of into it, but I really started getting into it because I was working at Crypto Arena all the time. I was seeing it every day, crypto everywhere I went. So I was like, got more into it because I was, stock exchange trader before that. And I realized I could make a lot more money off crypto. But Katie, what was her show? All I remember is there was this big giant pink cloud. I actually made that cloud in the shop, in the set shop. So while I was working on stage as an audio engineer, I was basically taking any job I could get in Hollywood. So I worked at Scenic Express. They make all of the sets and sceneries for all the big shows that you know. You may have seen a show called Hot Bench. It's Judge Judy's. She's the producer of it, but it's one of those like Judge Judy type shows. I built that whole set. I built all of that in the shop. Obviously, I had a crew of guys working with me too, but that was me, man. I made and manufactured all that stuff from raw materials. And when you're in Hollywood, before you make it, you gotta take whatever you can get, baby. So I was working Katy Perry's show, and I have the shirt for the show somewhere. If I still have it, I know it got a hole in it, so I stopped wearing it. But I probably got a picture of me wearing it somewhere from that show. But I always held on to that. Certain shirts I hold on to because we get like crew shirts, like for the backstage crew, and it says like whatever to her. And it's kind of, I don't have to have an all access pass. I mean, I do, but my shirt is basically my pass because I can go beyond all access with my title. So it's not just for backstage all access, it's for the entire venue all access. So one of the things that they started doing at some point in Hollywood was hey, what's up, Danny Gibbons? We're just having a little story time right now. Tales from behind the stage. So Katy Perry's show was one of those first shows. When I first started working, we were treated like royalty. It was steak and lobster for dinner. It was Literally, there were shows where I worked, and when we went to a meal, I don't know if you've ever had a 5-waiter staff meal, but basically you have a waiter to fill your water, you have a waiter to bring out your plate and take the lid off of it, you have a waiter to push in your chair, you have a waiter to do all the different things that you need and cater to each individual person. Capital Grill. So, if you've never had a meal like that, highly recommended. The only place that I know, that I would say that is a version of it, but definitely not this high class of style, would be like the Blue Bayou at Disneyland. Is very similar to that style of food, but the more spot on would be Club 33 at Disneyland. So anyway, if you haven't experienced it, man, I'll tell you what, I've been to the very bottom, guys. I've dug through the dumpster to find a meal, and I've been waited on hand and foot like a king. I've been on both sides, and I believe that God allowed me to be humbled to that low of a position in life, so that way I would know my roots and continue to stay humble despite all of the blessings that I was given throughout my life. And I was able to be more down to earth and understand how people feel. And if you know anything about me, my grandfather was a pastor for the homeless. He's preached in the ghetto from 1983 to 2007, every single Sunday, never missed a Sunday, and fed the homeless. And those are, that was my memories growing up. Is I never saw homeless people as like dirty or gross or anything like that. They were always treated as just another person, and that was because of my grandfather's upbringing. And also, being homeless on the street. If you guys know, I'm sure some of you guys know my story, how I graduated from college and high school at the same time being homeless. I come from humble beginnings. Morgan, don't forget to renew your subscription. It expires in 48 hours. Definitely get that deluxe subscription, buddy, so you can message me directly. So I come from humble beginnings, guys. Humble beginnings, and I believe that God, there was a time where I was like, God, why are you doing this to me? Why are you letting this happen? And now, years later, I understand why I had to go through what I went through. That was to create and mold me into the person I am today, because I wouldn't have the empathy that I have. I would probably be a nasty, ugly person that is highly controlled by Hollywood. But because of my upbringing and everything that happened in my life, I believe it all happened for a reason, because I was not one to be controlled, and God made me that way for a purpose. And I believe that purpose is being fulfilled now with this show. So I can't be controlled. I can't be manipulated by most of these actors and actresses and prominent people. And anytime they would dangle the cheese in front of me, I would always turn and be like, I don't need your cheese. I can do it on my own. And here I am. We have this amazing show, and all of you are watching. And it's all just me on my own building something from nothing. So, and I wouldn't have that if it weren't for you guys. So I do appreciate you all. But back to Katy Perry. All right. I'm sorry I keep dragging you guys along. Oh, thank you. God bless you too. All of you, God bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. That's my prayer for everyone. Whoever it may be, that is my prayer for you. I want to say it's 2 Corinthians. I can't remember. Maybe one of you know what verse that is. Maybe 1 Corinthians 11 something. Anyway, back to story time. I keep getting distracted. So Katy Perry, she's in the news right now. She's obviously been manipulated to a point where she can be controlled to make the fake content of the thing. And I firmly believe that it is fake. Yeah, the ads on Twitch are a bummer, but if you do subscribe on Twitch, that does go to help support the show, and you can watch ad-free. So that is something. If you don't want to deal with the ads, you can always just watch here, but it's what you're getting with Twitch is you're getting quality, and with TikTok you're getting what TikTok allows. You know, mind you guys, at any given time, TikTok could be banned in the United States. They could remove me from the show. I watch more than XRP. I actually have Bitcoin pulled up right now too. But we're just kind of having story time right now. I watch XRP so closely because it has been one of the most resilient altcoins in the entire space, and I think that should be noted. But when you guys are watching on Twitch, you know, you're either dealing with ads or you're paying for ad-free for a more professional viewing experience. So that's up to you where you guys want to watch, but eventually TikTok will be no more. I'll be getting into my technical analysis in a moment, but we are having story time first. We are going live till 9 p.m., so we got some time. I already dumped my coins, man. I sold at 320 and like 315, I think. The two eyes on the ghost are where I took profits and then I sold here. And I've been holding stable coins pretty much ever since. I made one more trade in between here, but that's about it. I buy down here. Anyway, so those of you that are asking questions in the TikTok, you got to become a subscriber to engage in the chat, or come on over to Twitch if you would like to engage in the chat without subscribing. So that's Oz the Crypto Goat, all lowercases, no spaces. So back to the story. Katy Perry is obviously someone who is controlled and manipulated. And the reason I know this is because the first time I ever saw her was when they started changing things. Like I said, we were treated like royalty in my position where I was at. We were considered part of the talent. We were rock stars as well. Now that sentiment has changed. We are just the peons. We're the little ants. We're the worker bees, and we don't get that treatment anymore. That's part of why I left as well. It's just declined in that way in Hollywood. But there was a time when people in my line of work were treated just as well as the rich and powerful and wealthy. And I mean, we were making lots of money. I used to make after taxes like 8 to 10,000 a week as an audio engineer. That was just a week. And I would work maybe 6 months out of the year, and I'd take the rest of the year off and just kind of do whatever I wanted to do. And that's why I have so much experience in so many different things, is because in my audio career, I didn't have to work every day. I only had to work when the show was going down. So I had that luxury to do so many amazing things. But back to Katy Perry. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. I know that she is controlled and manipulated. And one thing, I was talking about this the other day about what had happened this day, the first day I met Katy. And it was just when things were starting to change, where we were no longer treated like royalty, like the talent. We were starting to get treated second class. And I think part of it was because of the control and manipulation, and things were changing in the world very quickly. Nate, thank you for the heart me. Much appreciated. So things are changing quickly and fast, and they were keeping us separated from the talent. I used to, sit down and eat a meal with the talent. Now, there were some shows later on that were still that way, but certain individuals who became more A-list, we were considered more like B or C list, and they were considered more A-list, and they started separating us and keeping us from mingling with each other. And I think part of that, was because of the control and psyop things that they've been doing, with Hollywood. Danny, thank you for the 10 lightning bolts. Much appreciated. But I think, things were really starting to change in Hollywood. And that's why I think a lot of the whistleblowing is happening now, because it's kind of always been, but it was to a different extent than it is now. I don't know how to quite explain that to you guys in a way that you would understand or do it safely. TikTok censored by TikTok. Don't forget your subscription ends soon, so don't forget to renew your subscription. Get that deluxe subscription, buddy. Much appreciated. Anyway, so I see Katy. She's coming off stage, and mind you, the stage is like 3 levels. So there's like the ground floor where there's a lot of equipment. Censored by TikTok, thank you for the... Wow, that's a lot of lightning bolts. Let's let them tally up. 26 lightning bolts, thank you very much. 27 lightning bolts, thank you very much. So the stage is 3 levels, guys. There's the base stage where most of the cable is ran, and then the 3rd level is the towers and equipment and things like that. All the major equipment, and then the top of the stage is where the performance happens. Censored by TikTok, thank you for the 2 more lightning bolts. Much appreciated. Appreciate you very much. Don't forget to renew your subscription. And so there's a ramp in the middle of the stage where the talent comes down the ramp, and there's a little side chute off to the side that goes to stage right and stage left. And I'm on stage right, and she's coming down the middle, and I'm right there at about the ramp, maybe about 10 feet away from her. And as she's coming down the ramp and comes into that hallway section, two like bodyguard men kind of grab her and start escorting her a certain direction. And she looks back at me. So they're heading stage left and I'm on stage right, from the center. And she looked back at me and we made direct eye contact. And I'm telling you, I've never seen such a look of horror or terror in someone's face before. I don't know what happened or why she did that. But it was pure terror on her face. And I never actually got to speak with her or talk to her, but that was one of the first times in my career when I realized that something was up, and that things were not what they seemed. It wasn't as glamorous as what I was made out to be. I missed it. Please repeat. I had to go to the bathroom. Oh, man. You can always go back and rewatch the show. I feel like if I just tell you, it's just going to take away from it, but I guess I can sum it up. Basically, when I made eye contact with her, she had this look of terror in her face as she was snatched up backstage and escorted away from me very quickly. Because when she came down the ramp, she looked over at me, made eye contact with me, and started moving toward me. And then these two men came and escorted her away. And as they were escorting her away, she continued to like turn her head and lock eyes with me. There's a possibility. I can't say yes or no to that, but she had this look of terror on her face, like, help me. And what was I going to do? I couldn't do anything, how could I help her? What's up, B? Yeah, no problem. I just kind of had gotten into it, but I wanted you guys to understand, and that question about traffic, yes, I think so. And in that moment, I thought so, maybe, or later on down the road. But as I continued to learn things in Hollywood, I started to have my eyes open to what was happening there. So I do believe a lot of that is going on, more than you know, and more than God, it makes me sick. Just busted a big ring here in Ohio. Really? Is your son a cop? FBI? There's one that was just busted out here in Ohio. They're finally cracking down on that. It's been accepted for years. Yeah, the FBI is here in California investigating right now. Wow, you had a friend's daughter who was taken years ago. She tells you stories about it. America is the #1 country. Yeah, I can't say those words, but yes. My daughter was almost taken twice. Once at a Walmart right from the shopping cart, and once at a public park. And the time at the public park, I actually caught it on film, and that's why the man ended up running away. Because he didn't realize that he was being filmed in the moment. So it is very real, guys. You don't think that it's... I know you told me about that You told me about when you maced him. I remember that story. See, I listen to you guys. I listen too. You guys don't just listen to me. I listen to you guys. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are going on in the world, guys, that we need to start paying attention to and start fighting back against. They had 4 other teens tried to be taken. Yes, it's very scary. And I think maybe at the end of this month, we will do, when we do our charity drive, we'll do one for that specific type of charity. I got to look into it and vet one of them first before we pick anyone, because I don't like to give to charities where the charities just take all the money and then use the money for advertisement to make more money. So yes, we will do one of those. So that's probably what we're going to do for the next one. Tim Tebow has a great organization. I think I want to do something along the lines of the guy who did Sounds of Freedom. Did you guys watch Sounds of Freedom? If you didn't, that's a very powerful story, true story. Gosh, what's his name? I can't think of his name now. It just spaced on me. But if you haven't seen Sounds of Freedom, if you're in for a good cry, definitely check that movie out. But it is a true story. And the beginning of that movie is all actual footage of people being taken. It's all real footage, the whole opening of that thing. Very, very scary, guys. So, keep an eye on your kids. Take care of your kids. And they don't just take children, mind you. So, yeah, I guess that's it for story time. But there's more breadcrumbs to follow with that story. I don't want to get all into it today. But that realm of what is going on is very prominent in Hollywood, and I've seen many, many things that part of me has a bit of guilt where I feel like I should have done something, but at the other moment is, what could I have done and who could I have gone to? Because you have to understand that you can't go to the police, you can't go to anyone, you can't trust anyone. They're all in on it. It's a big club and you're not in it. So there is a portion of guilt that weighs on my heart daily. And that's why I feel like a portion of this show needs to be about informing you guys, maybe to help me with my conscience, my guilt, but also maybe to stop this. One time this girl took me, and now I have 3 kids and 2 dogs. Oh, man. Way to lighten up the mood. Much needed that. Danny, I will look into Tim Tebow. Oh, I think that is the guy. Tim Tebow. Isn't he the guy from Sounds of Freedom? Yeah, that's the guy. Timothy. St. Timothy. That's the guy from Sounds of Freedom. Tim Tebow is the guy that did Sounds of Freedom. No, he's an ex-football player. Am I wrong? Well, they definitely have the same first name. I'll look it up. Let me see here. Let's look up the guy's name. Tim Ballard. That was the guy. Tim Ballard. Yep. That's who I would probably want to give to their organization. I'll look into Tim Tabal though. We can do something like that. But Jay Haynes, don't forget your subscription ends soon, so don't forget to renew your subscription. Much appreciated. Thank you all for your support. You guys keep this show going. And if you do want to donate, you can send to the Cash App or Venmo. That's Aussie 122 33 504. And mind you guys, 122 is those numbers are my union numbers. So 122 is San Diego, 33 is Los Angeles, and 504 is Anaheim. Rusta, thank you for the 3 roses. Katy Perry, yep. Who's the entertainer you were speaking about just earlier? I was talking about Katy Perry. Yeah. I believe they have a lot of control over here. Lots and lots of control over Katy Perry. So the moment I saw the whole Katy Perry stunt, I knew every single one of those females is probably in the same boat. Or the same capsule. You know, look at all of them. We're going down now. I don't know. It looks like we're rebounding, going back up. Perfectly. It looks like 205 is the bottom. I can't believe I can't say that word. Yeah, Jeff Bezos has an issue down south there, I think. So let's look at the charts. Let's get back into it. We are a crypto show, but also we have a few other things to talk about. And eventually I will have a different show. We're going to do one where we talk, politics and current events, we're going to have one where we talk, conspiracies and ghost stories. I do want to do a ghost stories one where you guys can actually come into the live and tell your ghost stories. Because where I live now is very active. Looks like a bit of a inverted head and shoulders could take us back to 207. That's right in the realm. You have some stories? Maybe we should do some ghost stories today. You guys want to do some ghost stories? The only issue is, I'll tell you what, once we get TikTok studio where I can, Nate, thank you for the 10 lightning bolts. Much appreciated. Once we can cast the show the way it's intended to be. Yeah, not today. I believe the 26th, we should be able to have the same quality show on TikTok as we have on Twitch. However, it'll probably be short-lived because they only give you like 14-day access. And if anything should happen, then we'll have issues. But I'll tell you what, ever since, it's one of 3 things that did it. Okay. Ever since I started this show, I've had this ghost up here like this, right? And they have been trying to censor it on TikTok, trying to keep me from talking about this. I've been talking about it all the way since February. Since February, we've been doing this show, I believe. And, or I think I was a guest star on Mega's show back then. And when I first started talking about this, when the first bit of the shoulder was forming here. So we've been talking about this for a very long time, and they were suppressing this information, this ghost, this head and shoulders, this descending wedge, this diamond top was all being suppressed. But ever since we had this big crash down to 160, and I've been screaming it from the top of my lungs for months now, 163, baby, would be the entry point. And I think we're going to hit that and possibly continue up, and we could break out of this trend from that and continue upward. And we're going to talk about that one of the news articles. We're looking at possibly a kangaroo hop happening right now. So we could be turning from bearish to bullish. Okay. But 163 was the sweet spot. I did think it would be about 160, which it did hit like 161. I don't know if we're going to the moon yet, guys. Let's wait for confirmation on it. But as of right now, you know, my first main prediction was down here to this level, and we could possibly rebound from there, and that could send us up to $4. Could. Okay? Don't FOMO, guys. Chill out. Let's wait and see what happens, okay? But there is a possibility we could see $4, and I just don't see that happening because we're coming into May. Sell in May, go away. However, in July, if we don't break below, you know, 125 by July, I would say that there is a possibility we could see $4 still. Let's see. Yeah, we'll see. It may be down as low as it's going to go right now. $2 may be it. I think not. I honestly, I didn't catch it at 163 because that was my original price point. But then that crazy tariff came in, and I made an adjustment to 130. And we didn't quite catch 130 because we should have, but they did the fake pause on tariffs, and everyone thinks tariffs are paused, but they're not. So fake news messed it all up. So we should have dropped to 130. So I made an adjustment. I was expecting the largest market crash in U.S. history, but they couldn't allow that. They used fake news to prop it up. And now the sentiment is that buy, because everything's about to go parabolic and explode. So we'll just kind of see. But as for now, I'm short-term bullish. This is a bull flag right here. This is a nice little bull flag. Yeah, it could still be coming. We could still see $4 or $5. I could see that. And I mean, if it continues from there and the FOMO just gets crazy after it breaks through $5, it'll more than likely bull flag at $4, bull flag at $5. And if it continues up from there, I could see it hitting like $7. But I don't think it will. I really don't. I think that the very highest we're going to see after it finally bottoms out will be $3. I don't think it's going to go above $3, but it's possible. Okay. But I'm not going to feed you guys a bunch of moon cheese. I'm going to be real with you. Place you haven't seen says 40 cents. He's even more bearish than you, B. He says 40 cents. I don't think 40 cents. I think 75, man. 70, 75, maybe 60 cents. People are diamond handing the shit out of this coin, guys. They will ride it into the ground and just keep buying more. So I don't think it'll go as low as it's ever gone. I think maybe once we hit the despair portion of the cycle, it could see 40 cents. Maybe 60 cents. Yeah. It really just depends. We got to kind of see because XRP has been so resilient. That is why I focus on it so much. And we talk about it, and it's the main one to look at, because basically crypto looks identical across the board. Basically, it's all moving together in unison. But my focus is on XRP because of the moon cheese that comes along with it. And its resilience. It's just been so resilient. Unpredictable? I wouldn't say unpredictable. It's been predictable, but it's also been misleading and like purposely through manipulation. Crypto been dead. Trump winning the election was the best time to sell. I agree. Not him winning the election. This was winning the election. His inauguration. And I was going to take profits here, but I was like, you know what, let's wait till he gets inaugurated. It'll probably pump again. And sure enough, it did. I took profits here, and then it started going down and mention of tariffs. And I was like, I'm out. What is the time frame to 75 cents? I don't know, 6 months to a year. See this two spooky ghost eyes? That's where I took profits, and that's where I exited the market. I exited at 315. That's a long time. No, it's not. I've been accumulating XRP since 2017, man. That is not a long time. That's a few months. Y'all are too impatient. Be patient. All right. And remember, we'll keep making trades on the way down, and there's still money being made on the way down, but it is going down. As of right now, we're at 206, all the way down from 340. Okay, that's a long way we've moved down over the last few months, but it always price corrects. Okay, so it had a big drop. Is this the only price correction we're going to get? Maybe. We could, by the way, I wanted to point out to you guys, we had this head and shoulders, and we're possibly forming an inverted head and shoulders. But I think it's the 1 hour. No, maybe it's the 4 hour. 4 hour also looks like a head and shoulders. You see it? This looks like we got a double bottom into a head and shoulders. So that could send us down too. Haven't made a trade yet. I'll tell you what right now, Guinea Marie, these trades are very high risk trades to be making right now. So the fact that you have stayed strong and been patient shows a lot that you will be successful in this, okay? You will be successful. But I'm seeing a head and shoulders, and I'm seeing an inverted head and shoulders. And usually this is more micro and this is more macro. Usually the macro takes precedent. However, we have a micro, and then on the 1 day, we have this massive macro bearish trend. Let me put this back up here. So we have this channel. So usually the macro takes precedent over the micro. Yeah, how did that trade go for you on, what was that, Lima? How did that go? Did you get out when I told you to? Let's look at that one. What was it called again? You made $200. Hey, easy $200. What was that one called? LMT? No, that's Lockheed Martin. What was it called, B? Do you think Jerome Powell being removed will cause instability, uncertainty, causing the markets to crash down? We're going to talk about that. I don't think he's going to get removed because he is a private... The Federal Reserve is a private institution. So they can't remove him. LBR. Don't you wish you'd have listened and got out when I told you to? I told you and it was done, didn't I? I told you right when it ended. I think we were at 80 cents. Good. I'm glad you got out. Glad you got out, because I was watching it. I was like, bro, it's done. And you were like, nah, man, it did this earlier. I was like, nah, bro, it's done. It was right here, too. It was at 8 cents. I knew it. Do I trade daily? Sometimes. Sometimes I do. It depends on how I feel. If I feel lucky, but I feel like the best way to trade is to trade as smart money. And smart money zones are in day trading as well. But we're looking, when we are day trading, we're looking for confirmation before we make a move. You should message tips to us. And I do post those. The daily price point videos for those who are subscribed on TikTok. And for those of you who are deluxe subscribers, you can message me directly and we can talk about it. XRP sell now. I'm not going to tell you whether to sell, but I'm telling you, it looks freaking bullish. You don't see the daily price point videos? Are you a subscriber on TikTok? If not, you need to go into your TikTok settings and enable notifications. Or you can just click on my profile daily and look at the sub-only videos. When I'm streaming, I set limits, then I get notified so I can look at it. That's good. I'm literally watching the charts daily. It's my job now. You guys have made it my job. So I'm constantly monitoring the markets basically 24/7, except for when I sleep. I have been getting some better sleep though lately. You guys have been working me so hard. I've actually been getting a few hours of sleep every night. I'm deluxe, so I should see them, right? Yes, you should. So if you're deluxe subscribed, make sure you're going in and you're enabling to have those messages come to you. However, you're not the first person. There's like a shadow, I don't want to say the B word, but a shadow covering of my messages on TikTok. So those who are subscribed, who have their alerts set, have not been getting alerted lately. So mind you, you need to be checking them regularly throughout the day, watching all my videos because they are posted there. It's going sideways, not down. Well, yeah, it is going sideways, but I think it's forming a head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. Do you think it's bullish? I think it could be bullish just enough to be a bull trap and then be hella bearish, or it's just going to go bearish. Yeah, I'm speaking a lot better today. Yesterday, man, I could hardly move my jaw. Danny Gibbons hasn't been getting them either. A lot of people haven't been getting their notifications for my videos, even though they're subscribed and have notifications turned off. You guys are not the only ones. There's definitely some sort of manipulation going on here. Okay? So make sure you guys are going on manually and checking, because I'm telling you, the suppression is real, guys. Trading right now is so hard. I wouldn't say so. We've been doing really good. I've been calling the price points every single day. Trump's basically an insider. Well, yeah, they all are. It's a big giant club and you're not in it. It's a uniparty, guys. They just argue. It's what is it? Identity politics is the only thing that's different about them. Everything else is the same. He's being investigated. I hope they do. Anyone that is insider trading should be investigated except for me. That was a joke. I am not insider trading. I just have information that I've gathered over the years, and I'm making educated guesses. I wouldn't call it insider trading, what I'm doing. I just understand what's going on because I've seen things and I know things. That doesn't mean it's insider trading. It just means it's smart trading. You got to get in it. Get in what? What do I got to get in? I'm out of the market, man. I'm holding stable coins, collecting my APY. It would be insider trading if I broke my NDAs and told you guys what I know. And if APY is annual what's it? APY stands for annual percentage yield, so it's interest. Interest that you're earning on stable coins. And you know what? Cash App, or not Cash App, PayPal is offering 4% APY. I just learned that because I get paid from TikTok through Cash App now, or not Cash App, through PayPal. And PayPal is offering 4% APY. What stable coins are the worst right now? Tether. I think your best bet would be USDC until RLUSD comes out. I think RLUSD is going to have a higher APY. This is just speculation, but I think RLUSD will be a higher APY because of the lower cost that it takes for transaction fees and its speed. So it's going to be able to probably pay out more money. But I mean, there was a time where I think it was Ethereum or something I was staking. I was earning like 18% APY. But staking seems to be a thing of the past now. It's amazing how all of this stuff is evolved. Like, do you guys remember freaking NFTs? What are your thoughts on Pax Gold for stable? Honestly, B, I wouldn't know. There are a lot of things I do know, but I do not know everything. I do YouTube. Yes, I do. So all these videos are recorded and posted to YouTube daily now. So you can find me on YouTube. That's Oz the Crypto Goat, all lower cases, no spaces. And you can find me on Twitch at Oz the Crypto Goat, all lower cases, no spaces. And you can find me on TikTok at Ozzy12233504. And that is also the Cash App and Venmo. If you guys want to donate, there is the Cash App and Venmo. Much appreciated. I was looking into that along with USDC for stablecoin. Right now, I'm sticking with USDC for now. Sorry, miss being on the last couple days working my butt off. No worries. And Zodiac, all of those videos are posted to YouTube, and you can watch them on YouTube now. So if you guys miss a show, they will be posted on Twitch. But they only last for a few weeks on Twitch, whereas on YouTube, they will be there indefinitely. So make sure you guys go over to YouTube and give me a follow there as well, so you're getting all that. But what I'm trying to do is mitigate loss of content. I know I'm kind of spreading myself out, but what we're trying to do is grow the show. So we're on 3 platforms now. Will XRP go past $2? That's a good question. Eventually, but we don't know when. But yes, I think it's going down to 155, 154 at some point. Probably lower, though. I'm thinking like 140-ish. We'll have to see what happens. If we break up, we'll probably stop at 155 or 162. But if we break down from here, we'll probably stop at like 150. And if we continue sideways and then pop down lower, that would put us at like 130. So it really just depends. Brian Medlin, thank you for joining. Don't forget your subscription expires in 48 hours. So don't forget to renew your subscriptions. Become a deluxe subscriber and you can message me directly. I can help coach you, and you also get access to those daily price point videos. So please become a deluxe subscriber. Keep it rolling, guys. Keep it rolling. Let me post it down here. We have had 100 subscribers minimum, 2 consecutive months, guys. Give yourselves a round of applause. Over 100 subscribers for 2 consecutive months. That means we're doing something right here. And those subscriptions do come and help me. I did have a bit of a fight with TikTok over it. They tried to take it from me, but they ended up giving it back to me. That's what the Willy Wonka video was all about. Yours are on there forever? Mine says that the videos are only going to be there for like 2 weeks and then they get deleted. As for right now, we're keeping TikTok because Twitch doesn't have the ability for me to post those daily price point videos and for me to post those red alerts and for you guys to message me with like the subscription basis. So as of right now, we're using both platforms, but TikTok could be gone in the United States, in 90 days from now. So we need to mitigate and we'll slowly move over. But also TikTok brings us new traffic. We only have 12 people watching on Twitch right now. But the 12 people on Twitch are here like every day. Yeah, I'm not a partner. I'll resubscribe on TikTok as well. I can't keep getting those. Yeah, you gotta subscribe on TikTok if you want to keep getting those videos. And I kind of feel bad, like, because you guys have to deal with the commercials and subscribing on Twitch, but we're trying to grow. We're building growth here. So there's a little bit of growing pains that comes with that. Danny Gibbons, thank you for the tiny dinosaur. But also remember, guys, if you don't want to pay for the quality audio and video, you can just watch it on TikTok. I'm not going to be mad at you if you do whatever you think is best for you. But the idea of having Twitch is so that way, because there's been times where I couldn't go live for a week because of TikTok. I don't want to say the B word for why, but that's why we're having a dual platform, so that we have a place to retreat to, so that way we can continue, because it seems like when the retaliation is happening, that's when you guys need the information most. So the reason we're doing both platforms is for you guys. I'm trying to help you guys. So we need to get on with the news, man. We got some news to cover today. We had a bit of story time, but let's talk about the news. Crypto casino founder Richard Kim arrested for fraud. Kim admitted to losing at least $3.67 million through high leverage crypto trades. He was eating the moon cheese, man, and he lost it all. He should have been watching the GOAT. If he'd have been watching the GOAT, he would have shorted the market and made billions. Richard Kim, the founder of the crypto casino called Zero Edge, was arrested on Tuesday after being accused of losing millions of dollars that investors had given him. According to a complaint filed by the FBI in Southern District of New York, Kim fraudulently convinced investors to put money into his company, promising to build a groundbreaking crypto casino that would offer fair and transparent gameplay. Rather than invest the money into the business, he allegedly lost nearly all of the $7 million he raised to risky crypto trades and gambling on online websites. Holy cow, bruh. Oh, Josh Groban. I did his show before. I have his shirt from backstage. So, yeah. Let's see. Kim has a background in high-profile financial jobs. He once worked at Galaxy Digital and crypto investments company head. Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, bro. That is the face of shame. Shame. And this is why scams are going to be going up, guys, because people like this have been making high leveraged trades and they don't have the collateral to cover their leverages, guys. So understand, if you haven't already, get your Arculus wallets, guys. You need 2 of them. You can click on my profile on TikTok, and just above where my videos are, it says showcase. There's a little purse icon. Click that there and make sure you order 2. You need 2 of them. And if you become a deluxe subscriber, I can help you set it all up. All right. And, but you need 2, one that's connected to the exchange and one that's connected wallet to wallet, because as we read yesterday in the show, we had a scam that went through. That's why crypto started dumping this week, and we had a red Wednesday, is because wallets were hacked. Ladies and gentlemen, wallets were hacked. That's why you need to have wallets that are separated from the exchange, wallet to wallet transfer, so that your wallet is not hacked. If your wallet is connected to the exchange, it can be hacked. This is why we have to keep our money safe. So many people like this exist. What do you think about XRM? You mean XLM? I think Ethereum is dead technology. If you watch the Crypto Summit, you would know that Ethereum basically got out on stage and told everyone that they do not have the infrastructure to basically operate on a global scale. Honestly, I stay away from everything Ethereum. I think Ethereum's trash. It's dead technology. XRP was created by the creators of Bitcoin and Ethereum, some of them, to solve the problems that Bitcoin and Ethereum have. So I'm more about XRP, and I feel like if that sentiment changes, I'll get more into it. But as of right now, that's not happening, so I'm not going to waste my time and my breath on it. There is no 100% way to protect yourself from hacks, but you can protect your money better. Exactly. And that's why you do the 2 wallets, guys. It's an extra layer of protection. You're doing a wallet-to-wallet transfer. So it's severing that tie between the exchange. All right, more. Before we get into news, I want to look at the 1 minute real quick. Let's take a little looky. What's going on? We're frozen. All right, let's look at the 1 minute. What other crypto is as resilient as XRP? Bitcoin. And that's only as of right now. Bitcoin's just a meme coin. So it looks like we hit that 204 and we're heading back up now. Yeah, why do you think I focus so much on need to make the ghost bigger? I know. Why do you think I focus on XRP so much? There's something about it that's different than all of them. Okay? However, I think in the long term, the one to have is going to be like, I think it's XDC or XLM. But as of right now, this bull run, I think it's XRP. Yeah, I think all of crypto is the future. Okay, it's not just XRP. It's not going to be a one all be all end all with XRP like everyone is acting. Okay, it's going to be an ecosystem. XLM long-term prediction depends on how long, but let's say in a decade, I could see XLM being worth like $20, maybe $10. I think XLM has a lot of promise. Is it smart money to buy now? Not yet. Not yet. Smart money will be after the bull run. If you're looking for smart money long-term entry points, that's going to be after the bull run. Okay. And then you're going to just wait. And I don't think you're going to have to wait 4 years, guys. I think you're going to have to wait like 6 months to a year, maybe a little more, maybe 2 years. All right. I don't think you're going to have to wait as long this next time. All right. Let's watch a little video.
Bitcoin holds its ground. OKX expands its presence in the United States, including a new California headquarters. And CleanSpark CEO Zach Bradford explains the reasoning behind the company's plan to start selling its mined Bitcoin. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Talia Kaplan. Major cryptocurrencies falling slightly, with Bitcoin holding pretty steady, trading just below $85,000. Ether sliding 1.8% to under $1,600. And XRP also falling nearly 2%, all as of noon Eastern. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. International crypto exchange OKX is expanding its presence in the U.S. following a settlement with the Department of Justice. The company launched trading in multiple states and a self-custody wallet that supports more than 130 blockchains. It's also setting up a new regional headquarters in San Jose and appointing former Barclays director Roshan Robert as U.S. CEO. The move comes after the firm wrapped a legal battle with the DOJ back in February. OKX pleaded guilty to violating anti-money laundering laws and agreed to pay a penalty of more than $500 million. This expansion also comes amid a looser regulatory environment in the U.S. since President Trump took the reins back in January. Next, Coinbase is warning of bearish trends in crypto markets. Its April monthly outlook for institutional investors found the total market cap for altcoins plunged 41% from its high of $1.6 trillion in December. The figure now stands at around $950 billion. The report also said that despite an uptick in VC funding in the first quarter, funding levels are still down between 50 and 60% from the peak reached in the 2021 and 2022 cycles. That limits new capital coming into the space. And of course, there are broader pressures. The report found that crypto's recovery could struggle thanks to recent market uncertainty spurred by trade policy. That's despite the industry's recent regulatory progress. The report suggests crypto prices may find their floor this quarter. Finally, former SEC Chair Gary Gensler joined CNBC's Squawk Box this morning, where he was asked about recent developments involving crypto cases. Last week, the Senate confirmed President Trump's pro-crypto SEC chair pick, Paul Atkins. He succeeds Gensler, who was widely criticized by the crypto community for his regulation by enforcement approach to the industry. Since Gensler's departure, several crypto companies, including Ripple, Coinbase, and Kraken, saw lawsuits or investigations dropped, resolved, or put on hold by the agency. Gensler was asked about that this morning, and didn't answer the question directly, instead reiterating his belief that investors need to tread carefully when dealing with crypto.
This field is almost 99 or maybe 1.
Short little commercial. Sorry about that, guys. We'll be right back to it. Just a moment.
One might say 100% sentiment and very little on fundamentals. And while something like Bitcoin may persist for a long time because there's 7 billion people around the globe, a real keen interest in it, there's 10 or 15,000 others of these tokens. And to think through your own risk, your own personal risk about where are the fundamentals, and if this is just about sentiment, then generally those don't end up well, and most then go down.
All right, turning to Bitcoin mining for our main story. CleanSpark announced the company will start selling some of its mined Bitcoin to support operations. It also increased its credit line with Coinbase. I spoke with CleanSpark CEO Zach Bradford yesterday, shortly after the announcement. He breaks down the strategic expansion and weighs in on recent developments for Bitcoin here in the U.S. CleanSpark just announced an increase in the company's credit facility with Coinbase Prime to $200 million. Now, this is all part of a broader capital management strategy that includes the launch of an institutional-grade Bitcoin treasury desk. Can you take us through this expansion? What prompted this development to come about, and what's the goal?
So this has been something that's been long in the works for us. We have been approaching the market, I think, differently than most of our peers have. So, and this really started when we started discussing it at depth this past December, when we raised $650 million on a convertible bond. But we were the only one that didn't take that and buy Bitcoin. Instead, we invested in our operations. And we did so because we believe it's better to invest in the infrastructure behind Bitcoin, which allows us as miners, of course, to get rewarded. And our cost is right around $34,000. So it puts us in a good position to acquire Bitcoin at a much lower cost. And that's really the direction we're going. But as part of that, we were holding all of that Bitcoin. Now, we had a goal in mind, and we wanted to get to about the levels we are now, which we have just over $1 billion in Bitcoin on the balance sheet. But in order to accumulate everything we mined, it means we had to use the capital from somewhere. So we're using that convertible debt and other facilities to add Bitcoin to our balance sheet. We're now going to use the Bitcoin on our balance sheet as kind of an additional step, and we are going to cover our operating costs. So that means we are going to be sellers of Bitcoin on a portion of our production. Our profit margins are really healthy, so we'll still keep adding to the balance sheet. But this Coinbase line of credit will also give us flexibility to support the growth in addition to supplementing it with our operating cash flows.
I want to shift to the changing landscape for Bitcoin amid a more crypto-friendly administration. Since January, when Trump took office, we have seen the establishment of the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve and digital asset stockpile. The president also appointed a White House AI and crypto czar, just to name a few crypto-related developments. What do you think has changed since Trump took office from a crypto perspective, especially as it relates to the Bitcoin narrative? And is the change
I
in
think
tone
Bitcoin could
impacting your
go
business
really
at all?
low,
If so,
especially
how?
once regulation comes out. We could see
since the
10K.
administration took office, it's been a net positive for our industry. And a lot of this comes from the regulatory landscape. In the prior years, the Bitcoin industry and the crypto industry as a whole, we had a lot of headwinds that we were facing. We find ourselves with, some tailwinds at this point. In particular, the one that I would like to point to that I think has had the highest impact for the industry as a whole is SAB 121. What that is it is, the repeal of something that essentially discouraged traditional banks from having exposure to Bitcoin or other forms of cryptocurrency. As a result, there's now more traditional institutions becoming interested in holding Bitcoin and interacting with it. That's
And
part
I
of the
think
reason is
Bitcoin,
we've launched
has
our
its
broader
space
digital
and it
asset
has a
management group
place.
internally,
But I
which
think
means we'll be
eventually it
involved
will
in, trading
fall,
derivatives. It means
and
we will
that would be the time to
involved
get into
in trying
Bitcoin.
to generate,
But as of right
pursuing
now,
other forms of
the
revenue,
sentiment is
such
huge. When people
as,
think of crypto, they think of
lending
Bitcoin.
on a short-term basis or other avenues that were, to a certain degree, inaccessible before because it was very difficult for traditional banks or financial institutions to interact. And for us, that made it so that the risk profile of the counterparties didn't meet our standards. But now we can have much higher quality financial institutions interact with us in these transactions.
Now, we have also seen the Trump family move into crypto. In fact, 2 weeks ago, we learned that the president's sons, Eric and Don Jr., got into the Bitcoin mining space, investing in a new company called American Bitcoin, which is controlled by crypto infrastructure firm Hut 8. In a news release, Hut 8 said American Bitcoin aims to become the world's largest miner while building a strategic Bitcoin reserve. What was your reaction to this development, especially with American Bitcoin's US-centric focus? CleanSpark is also based in the US and operates data centers across the country. So do you view this launch as new competition? Are you fazed at all?
We're not, just like we're not fazed by, any of our other competitors. So CleanSpark, we are America's Bitcoin miner. And, as part of how we pursued that is our development on US soil. And the scale we're operating at will take a long time for anybody to catch up on. We are well on our way to 50 exahash. That's our current mid-year target. That would make us, by and large, in a very large gap for the amount of hash rate or processing power that is, managed by a public company on US soil. So we feel very comfortable in our position. We're also not here to keep up with anybody else. We've always, walked to the beat of our own
Bitcoin
drum.
mining, that's another thing about Bitcoin is
in
it can be mined,
extremely cost advantageous.
That makes me wonder,
capital, and we're just going to
obviously
continue doing what we
it's
do
expensive
best, and that's being
to mine and
one of
do
the
what it
most
does, but
efficient and
is
the
it
miner with the
really
highest operational
something
excellence in the
that
industry.
is uninflatable?
So you actually
If
met
everyone
with
around the
President
world
Trump
is
in private
mining Bitcoin,
roundtables to discuss Bitcoin mining.
what is
We
the
also
true
discussed
scarcity?
how Bitcoin mining can be a significant economic driver with Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick. Can you take us through those conversations and what was your goal when speaking with them? What was the main point you were trying to get across? And did you find those conversations to be productive?
Yeah, there's been several meetings. In all those meetings, they have been incredibly productive. In the very earliest days when we met
XRP
with,
looks like it's about to double
at the time
bottom.
was gonna
If it
be
breaks
the
past,
future president
we'll
and now our
probably see
current president
$2.
in
So let's
Mar-a-Lago,
keep an eye on
the
this right
goal was
here,
to help
guys.
bring an understanding of the industry. And he did have an understanding of the industry, but we wanted
Mining
to further
is
the
the
regulatory
processing
discussion.
of
And our goal wasn't to be
the
treated special in any way. It
Bitcoin.
was to be treated fairly.
Basically,
We were facing
it's
headwinds.
the
We just needed
computers
the headwinds to go away
that
to
process the
create
transactions
an
and holds the
opportunity
information
for the
on
industry to thrive and
the
flourish
blockchain.
in the United States. And I think that that's happened, with very quick moves in the very early days of the administration. The headwinds we were facing from groups such as the SEC and other regulatory bodies, they've really calmed. And I think also now, if you look at Congress, both sides of the aisle are interested and engaged in finding the right type of regulation.
That's a big part of crypto, guys. You have to understand that Congress has to do the regulation. Congress has to pass laws. Congress is going to be the key factor here. It's not going to be these
all the
panels, the crypto summit. They're not going to be writing the laws. They're going to be creating the framework, writing the bills, but Congress will be the one actually passing these things and making them come to
Now,
pass.
Bradford also explained why CleanSpark decided not to join competitors in shifting to AI following last year's halving event. You'll be able to check out his full interview over at cnbc.com/cryptoworld. Okay, that's all for today, but we'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
All right. They are going to screen it up, then we're all screwed. You mean run it up? Crayon time, crayon time, crayon time. What do you mean crayon time? Are you just spamming the chat? Or what is that? Crayon time. No worries. What did you mean to say? Emote? Didn't put an emote though. If Congress is going to do all this, they're going to screw it up. Oh my God. God, you called it. You called it. However, I do think that this is the new financial institution for the new global economy. And it's basically the space race, but the new crypto financial race. So we can't screw it up. If we screw it up, we lose. The problem is other countries don't have the red tape like we do. And they don't have new people come into power every 4 years that can come in and throw a wrench in the gears. So that can be a problem. We could lose this race. I think I would rather have experts take care of this than Congress. Yeah. I think the problem is Congress is lazy. They are so lazy they need to go do their frickin' job. All right, here's another one. I know it's a couple of videos, but I'm trying to give my jaw a break. So these are videos that basically explain the same news, and they have the same sentiment of similar to what I believe, and I'll comment on them. Obviously, I can't just use someone else's information. However, it is fair use with commentary. So I am commenting on these, and I will give you my own perspective. But a lot of these people and information that I'm giving you is vetted. There are a lot of places where I get my information from. And, you know, you have to sift through it with a fine-tooth comb, guys. Danny Gibbons, thank you for the Let 'Em Cook. Much appreciated. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends. Censored by TikTok with the Let 'Em Cook. Danny Gibbons with another Let 'Em Cook. Thank you guys very much. But mind you guys, when you're looking for news in general, guys, there is so much fake news. You cannot be a headline reader, okay? If you are just reading headlines, you will be misinformed, okay? Even the articles with the headlines, the articles will say literally the opposite of the headline. What's up, Aramak 88? What's going on? What's happening with Bitcoin? Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks identical to XRP, somewhat of an inverted head and shoulders, and we could go up to 88. However, this could also be a bit of a double bottom, and we could see, you know, 92 to 96. And it could be the opposite. We could break down from here. Yes, we could break down. However, I think people think the moon is made of cheese, and I'm trying to factor in moon cheese into my trading. So there is a probability that people are buying the dips and they're diamond handing, and they think that things are going to go parabolic. So we could see small little pumps just before it drops off to keep it alive, to keep people buying in through the next couple months, guys, because we are going into crypto winter. Which brings us to our next article. Over 700 million in XRP moved in April. What are crypto whales up to? Mind you, this is TradingView news. I love TradingView news. It's seems to be some of the better places to get your news. So I do like TradingView. They seem to be on point. However, they also feed you moon cheese as well. So you got to sift through it still. Take a look at Solana. $700 for Solana. I'll look at Solana in just a moment. Remind me after I read this article. So what are the whales up to? XRP is making headlines this month as whale activity surges across the network. In a surprising twist, reports indicate that XRP whales have dumped more than 700 million worth of tokens just this April. This sudden shift in whale behavior raises the question of what the big players are really up to. On April 15th, prominent crypto analyst Ali Martinez reported on X that XRP whales have begun dumping the popular cryptocurrency in large volumes. That's XRP. Following a period of substantial token accumulation, these large-scale investors have sold over 370 million XRP since the beginning of April. Notably, this massive sell-off amounts to over 700 million, triggering a wave of speculation about the intentions behind this move. More interestingly, the XRP dump appears to align with recent price fluctuations, as whales tend to heavily influence the market dynamic, especially during a downturn. The sentiment chart provided by Martinez reveals a clear trend from April 3rd to April 14th that XRP wallets holding between 100 million and 1 billion tokens have drastically reduced their holdings. As this large-scale whale dumping progressed, the XRP price dropped to new lows around April 8th and then began to steadily climb, reaching $2.10 at the time of this writing. While the reason behind such large scale exists unclear, I think it's very clear. It's because of market volatility with the tariffs. A few plausible explanations. Whales might be capitalizing on earlier price gains to lock in profits while market conditions for XRP remain relatively stable. These investors could also be responding to heightened market volatility, pushing them to shift their holdings to alternative assets to hedge risks and safeguard against losses, which is more likely, guys. Occam's razor, guys. If you guys know what Occam's razor is, it basically means that if there are two outcome possibilities, it's usually the more simpler explanation that explains it than the outlandish, crazy meaning. So is it market manipulation? Probably not. It's more or less that people are trying to mitigate their losses because they understand crypto winter is coming. And we're in a bearish trend. Are we in a bear market? I wouldn't say necessarily yes, but we are in a bearish trend. And if we go into a bear market, baby, I would strongly advise against not holding long term in the bear market, but to maybe reconsider your positions. Another possibility is that these big players are selling tokens between wallets and transferring them to exchanges in application of a significant event, perhaps a final legal decision between Ripple and the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. In a less optimistic scenario, such coordinated whale activity which trends to influence prices may be indicative of market manipulation, often aimed at achieving strategic gains. So, Occam's razor, guys, is it market manipulation or are they just trying to mitigate their losses? I think more or less it's probably the less crazy fun answer. Okay, if you don't know what Occam's razor is, go Google it. Definitely something to consider, guys. We always want to jump down these rabbit holes and jump for the most outlandish ideology, but I think things are actually more boring than you think they are. It just that, and that's kind of a safe way to trade. I do think a lot of these crazy things like manipulation and such are happening, okay? And I do think it's all part of the big plan, but also at the same time, let's not feed into nonsense and try to be rational, okay? It could be either or. Honestly, I personally think it's more manipulation tactics and a shakeout. But it could just be mitigating losses. Okay. And either way, it's the same sentiment that we are going down. Either way. So it doesn't really matter what the reason is. What matters is the outcome. And those of you that are watching on TikTok, don't forget we are on Twitch. That's Oz the Crypto Goat, all lower cases, no spaces. If you're looking for a more professional quality stream, come on over to Twitch. We will be leaving TikTok at some point. So if you don't want to miss the show, definitely come over to Twitch and get it set up, because at any point we could lose our ability to go live on TikTok. I'm not going to say the B word, but if they use the B word against us, then we're gone. And so that's a place for us to go. All right. All right. New key date for XRP holders unveiled. Peter Schiff reveals best trade you can make. Court pauses appeal in Ripple case. Crypto News Digest by you today. Okay, guys, don't get crazy. Okay, don't get too bullish over this. But this is about ETFs. All right. And mind you, ETFs enables futures. Futures means shorts. Okay. So if the price is already high, if ETFs are approved, they can come in and short the market. A new key date for XRP holders unveiled according to an update of ProShares, a prominent issuer of exchange-traded funds, is set April 30th as the target launch date for its futures-based XRP ETF. Okay, April 30th. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. I don't see it happening. XRP cannot have an ETF until the injunction is dropped. Okay, till the case is settled, and until Congress changes the law, because Ripple has to pay a fine because they broke the law. Nothing about it that has changed. Even if the injunction is removed, they still broke the law, and they still have to pay that fine. Now, because all of those things will happen, people don't understand that and don't really read the news and read the headlines. It will pump. Okay? But it won't get that institutional money pump, guys, until Congress passes some kind of law, until we have some kind of regulation. Okay? Regulation is everything. And then with regulation comes investigation. So that will be the fall of Bitcoin shortly thereafter. Sometime after. It could take years after that. So keep that in mind. With regulation comes investigation and removal of nonsense from the crypto sphere. The ETF will be based on XRP's futures contracts and swap agreements rather than investing in the token directly. This move is seen as an important step towards eventual launch of the spot-based XRP ETF. As a reminder, back in 2021, ProShares made headlines with a successful launch of its first futures-based Bitcoin ETF. Industry figures like Anthony Sakamuchi have criticized the previous SEC administration for delays in improving spot ETFs. The product was finally launched in earlier 2024 to great fanfare. Sell all your Bitcoin. Man who predicted the 2008 crash reveals best trade you can make in a recent X post. Peter Schiff, financial commentator known for predicting the 2008 market crash, has urged his followers to sell all their Bitcoin, calling this move the best trade you can make right now. In Schiff's opinion, investors should go all in on gold and silver mining stocks. Adding to those who follow his recommendations will thank him later. Schiff's post coincides with gold reaching all-time peaks of 3,200, while Bitcoin is changing hands at 84,000, down 71% over the past 24 hours amid a shaky stock market, ongoing tariff concerns, and previously reported by US Today on March 8th. Yeah. So they're saying probably don't hold Bitcoin. Probably stay away from risky trades right now because the market sentiment is not there for risk. People are looking for stability right now. They're not looking for risk. Okay? What people are looking for in XRP is get rich quick. What people are looking for in crypto is get rich quick. Okay? That's not how it happens. Have you guys seen The Wolf of Wall Street? If you've seen The Wolf of Wall Street, he says it, you know, the pink sheets, the penny stocks, the ones that are in the back of the Hustler ads that people think they're going to buy and get rich quick. I know, but I'm just saying it's important to listen to both sides of the aisle, guys. It's important to, I mean, we kind of already had the crash. But I just want you guys to understand it's important to not put on blinders and not listen to what other people are saying, but to listen to everything and believe nothing. That's what Bill Cooper once said, okay? Listen to everything but believe nothing. All right, someone asked for Solana. I'm going to look at Solana. Who wanted to look at Solana? Who was that? Look, Solana looks like possible inverted head and shoulders maybe right now as well. Everything looks about the same. I could see a Solana going to 179. $700 Solana? Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here with your $700 Solana price prediction. This year, you think Solana is going to hit $700 this year? Get out of here. Come on now. Stop eating the moon cheese. No. No $700 Solana. Yeah, the bank wants to make the shorts. Exactly. You think if we've all been allowed to buy it all this time and have been pumping the price, do you really think institutions are going to want to get in and pay top dollar? Or are they going to want to get in and short the market? Come on. Get real. Get real. No way. You guys seen that video? The guy in the closet and he's like, no way, get real. It's like an animation of a leopard. That was like old school internet E-bombs world. Probably not. So when trade futures, is it too risky? Trading futures is very risky. I do not do it. I'm usually right, and I could make a lot of money from it. But for me, it is not worth the risk of losing my home, my land, and everything that I own. It is not worth it to me. I would rather just... I mean, it's not I mean, it's kind of gambling, but we can't condone that, and we can't say the G word. But it's high risk. The best way to do it is to buy in smart money zones down here and hold and wait for it to pump and take profits. That's why the markets are going down, because whales have been accumulating down here for years, and it moves up, and when it spikes they take profits. That's why it makes these bull flags. That's why it has these resistance zones, because those are the spots where smart money takes profits. So the idea is to stop trying to get rich quick. Stop trying to make risky trades to get rich quick, guys, and to become smart money. Start getting in at smart money entry zones and then being patient. Y'all are too impatient trying to get in, and your impatience is going to cost you everything. I'm trying to teach you guys to stop FOMOing, stop making trades based off of things pumping. I understand it's a rush. It's enjoyable. There's something to it. I get it. Okay? But it's not how you become rich. You get rich by accumulating in smart zones, constantly putting money away, and then taking profits when it pumps. And then after it pumps and it comes back down to the bottom, you put it back in and you wait. That's how you get rich. And I know that's why you guys are here. Y'all want to get rich. That's why you're watching XRP, because you think it's the next Bitcoin. You want to get rich. I get it. I get it. We all want to be rich. I'm telling you, this looks like a bit of a bull flag to me. But you know what? At the same time, it could be, it's looks like a descending channel. You guys see it? Got a descending channel. And usually with that comes an upward breakout. And that would line up perfectly with this head and shoulders and make for a nice little bull trap to bring us right back down. Will it come down that far? Probably not. Because the moon is made of cheese, y'all. Smash the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Share the show with your friends. If you are watching on TikTok and you can't send a gift or you can't afford to become a subscriber, make sure that you are hitting that like button, guys, so that we can get this information out to other people. We need to drive that algorithm. So become a subscriber. Oh, man, we lost our 100 subscriber position, guys. We only have 96 subscribers now. We are dropping subscribers by the day, and I get it. We're losing traction on Twitch as well. Only 6 people are watching. Only 18 people are watching on TikTok. So, you know, the show's dying. Yay. Glad I invested all this into it. But I do it for you guys, for those of you that are diehard. But lately, the last couple shows, man, I've been talking to a wall. Nobody's watching anymore. Nobody cares anymore. It sucks. And all I'm trying to do is help people. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Why is it dying? Because nobody's watching, nobody's engaging, nobody's liking, nobody's subscribing. There's a few, and we were, you know, for a while there, we were growing, but it's become stagnant. I know that some of you are. Thank you. And I know that some of you are, but we were having some beautiful growth. Because you left TikTok? I mean, it's not even because I left TikTok. When I'm on TikTok, nobody's watching either. Yesterday on TikTok, I had like 1 to 2 people on average watching. It's not that. It's just, I don't know. Maybe crypto's losing its steam. Who knows what it is? That's why, we have to do the donations now, because donations are really keeping us afloat, because TikTok takes most of the money. We're not making any revenue. We're definitely well in the hole on this venture, but it's not about making the money. It's about helping people. But it is hard because, it's hard talking to a wall. It's hard doing a show and putting everything you have into it, and you look over and only one person's watching you. It's very hard. So like, we have to be, we're only at 8,000 likes on TikTok. We were averaging 50,000 likes within the first 2 hours of any show, our first month and a half. And that sentiment has just died. And we have to work together, guys. I do a lot of work and everything here, but I can't be on your end, pushing the like button. I can't be on your end. Obviously, there's those of you that are on Twitch, but there's only 6 of you on Twitch. Only 6 people are watching on Twitch right now. And we use TikTok to bring people over to Twitch, or if they want to view on TikTok, they view on TikTok. But we have to have Twitch in case we lose TikTok. At any point, TikTok could just be gone. I know, and I don't know why I don't show up in feeds. I used to be in everyone's For You page, and now it's not. And part of it is because of likes. That comes from people going on and liking the show. But a lot of those diehard people have moved from TikTok that we're liking all the time, have moved into Twitch. So I get it. That's part of it with moving platforms, but we have to have multiple platforms because of how totalitarian TikTok is. We have to. What's Trump going to do about his Trump coin? What do you mean? It's a meme coin. It does nothing. If you thought that they were going to use it as the world currency, you got misled. Oh, he's going to be investigated about it. Bitcoin's meme coin too, But they'll probably investigate into it. You know what I think is there's no regulation on crypto, so he's going to get away with it. That's what I think, and they're going to use it as a way to create new laws and new structure and new regulation. He's not supposed to have it. Yeah, but he probably has a rat hole that owns it, like his son, Barron. I think Barron Trump is Donald's rat hole. Have you guys seen Wolf of Wall Street? If you haven't seen Wolf of Wall Street, watch it. Obviously, it's pretty vulgar, but that's reality of what is going on in this world with as far as the markets go and trading. And so if you want a little bit of insight to that is probably your most accurate depiction of Wall Street wealthy, and how it all goes down. It's all a scam. They're all scheming and manipulating. So if you haven't seen Wolf of Wall Street and you don't mind, seeing some vulgar things, definitely watch that. It is educational. It's also very vulgar. And that's because it's probably the most realistic depiction of what is going on. And I think it's important to not shield ourselves from things just because things are vulgar, so that way we can understand things a little bit better. The more information and understanding we have, the better picture we can create in order to grow. All right, we got a lot of news to cover. Lots of news. Average U.S. rate on a 30-year mortgage climbs to 6.83%, the highest level since late February. File: a for sale sign is displayed in front of a home and blah, blah, blah. Okay. The average rate of a 30-year mortgage in the U.S. climbed to its highest level in 8 weeks, a setback for home shoppers in the midst of the spring home buying season. And you know what? This market's going to crash. It's going to crash and burn here too, just like the other markets. So get ready, guys, for another housing market crash. It's coming. Will it be this year? I don't know, but possibly. The rate rose to 6.83% from 6.62% last week. Mortgage buyer Freddie Mac said Thursday a year ago the rate averaged 7.1%. Borrowing costs on a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, popular with homeowners refinancing their home loans, also rose. The average rate increased to 6.03% from 5.82% last week. It's still down from 6.39% a year ago, Freddie Mac said. Not in your area, it's hot as ever. Well, where are you at? Where are you at? That would probably explain it. And the thing is, these are nationwide. Yeah, New Hampshire, that's why you have a tiny little state up on the East Coast. Yeah, that area is different. What we're talking about is national averages. I'll tell you where is really seeing a lot of homes for sale, where the market is flooded, is the DC area. The DC area is flooded with homes because of all the layoffs in DC from Doge. So the housing market is flooded. All right. You know, I was going live yesterday, and I was basically, there was like 5 people watching the show, and my mouth was sore anyway, so I made it a short show. And I thought, oh, maybe it's because I'm going live earlier in the day, and then here we are. So I decided to go later, and there's hardly anybody watching. So I don't know what it is. So make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends. We're only at 10K likes. We average about 50,000 likes by now. So if you guys do love the show and you don't want it to die, send in those likes. Also, send in the gifts, guys. When you guys send gifts, it also helps boost the algorithm more than likes do. Because when you are giving money, they take a percentage of that revenue. They want that revenue to come in. Your live didn't show up yesterday, brother. I know. We had a short show yesterday. I had some dental work done, and so my mouth was very sore. So I only did 2 hours. Did a short show in the morning. But guys, help out. I know it costs money, but when you guys send in the gifts, the lightning bolts, the roses, the let 'em cooks, all that stuff, when you guys help me meet those goals and you're putting that in, that helps to push it out in the algorithm. Because really what TikTok cares about, it's their bottom line. They want to make money, and they make, like 55, 60% of what I make. So, every time you're giving money, they're making money. They want to promote the show. And so I really don't care about making the money so much as getting the show out there to more people. And I'm sure the sticker has something to do with it too, but just keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. And also subscribers, guys, become a subscriber. We're down to 92 subscribers. We were at 100 today. We've lost almost 10 subscribers. So if you haven't renewed your subscription, or you haven't subscribed yet, become a subscriber. There was no notice of your show. Yeah. That's freaking spectacular. I feel like I'm talking to a wall sometimes. I really do. But those of you who are here every day, you keep me pushing forward. But it can be disheartening. It can be disheartening. All right. We're going to buzz through some of these. Trump tariffs sink global economy outlook. Share of hedge fund managers who say they expect a hard landing. Monthly survey conducted January 2024 to April 2025, most recently with 164 panelists. Global fund managers have turned strongly pessimistic when it comes to the chances that the world will be able to withstand the effects across the board, U.S. tariffs, and are particularly bearish when it comes to the U.S. itself. So the sentiment is turning bearish, guys. As of right now, it's getting bearish. I'm going to buzz through some of these. Is it more beneficial to subscribe on TikTok or subscribe on Twitch? Well, right now, if you subscribe on Twitch, I have to earn at least $50 to get even paid on Twitch, and we're nowhere even near that. But when you subscribe on TikTok, they're two different things. So Twitch is mainly for a professional live viewing experience. It's not a camera pointed at the screen. You're getting a more professional viewing quality. Okay. So the Twitch is more centerlined around having a hedge against TikTok. If for some reason TikTok should ever go away, we have a place to retreat to, but also for a better viewing experience for you guys. So Twitch is more or less for the live. Now, when you subscribe on TikTok, that's where you're getting your daily price point videos. That's where, when you're a deluxe subscriber, you can message me directly. I can help you and coach you. And you're getting two different services. When you're subscribing on Twitch, you're getting just a better viewing and audio quality. And with that comes, because we are an affiliate now, comes commercials. So if you want to subscribe to make the commercials go away, that's why you would subscribe. Otherwise, as for now, TikTok is the place to be still. So until that changes, basically TikTok's the spot where you're going to get all your, perks for being a subscriber, and Twitch is our safe haven, so that because at any given moment, any given moment, TikTok could be gone. So we have to have a secondary. So as of right now, Twitch is just for your luxury viewing. And if for some reason we do get taken down off TikTok, then this is where we'll be at. So that way you have somewhere to retreat to if the show is gone. Because there's been times where I haven't been allowed to go live on TikTok for a whole week. So it's a different place, a different platform. They both serve a purpose. But mainly, as of right now, TikTok. TikTok is the only place I'm receiving any revenue from. And it's very minimal. Like the other day, I went live for 4.5 hours and we made negative $1.38. So, that's kind of where we're at. Yesterday on TikTok, we made 68 cents going live. So the real way to help the show is by giving to the Cash App or the Venmo. That's what really drives this show. Sorry, there's something on my mic. There we go. So if you do really want to support the show, give to the Cash App. But if you're looking for those price point videos and that daily coaching, then TikTok's going to be the place to do it. All right. Powell says Fed to stay on hold until clarity of tariff impact. The U.S. economic growth appears to be slowing, with consumer spending growing modestly. A rush of imports to avoid tariffs likely to weigh on estimates of gross domestic products and sentiment soaring. U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said on Wednesday, "For now," he said in remarks preparing for delivery of the Economic Club of Chicago, the Fed could keep its benchmark interest rate steady to wait for greater clarity before considering any adjustments to our policy stance. So it doesn't look like the Fed is changing or lowering anything anytime soon. Trump, let's see here. Zoom in a little bit. Trump attacks Fed boss for not cutting interest rates. Donald Trump has attacked the head of the U.S. Central Bank for not cutting interest rates, stating that Jerome Powell's termination cannot be fast enough. Now, mind you, Donald Trump cannot terminate Jerome Powell, okay? And whoever they get in there is probably going to do the same thing, okay? The Federal Reserve is not federal at all, guys. It is a private institution. So he cannot fire them. He can't do anything. The U.S. president took to social media to renew his criticism of Powell ahead of the third interest rate cut this year by European central banks. And we saw that yesterday, that they have already cut interest rates in other countries, but not ours. Trump, who nominated Powell as Federal Reserve Chair in 2017 during his first term, wrote that he is always too late and wrong on reducing borrowing costs. But they don't care. They're about making money. And here's a little clip for y'all.
Let's return to what we were seeing about an hour ago, because the IMF managing director has been speaking, And the global economy is likely to avoid a recession despite the hit to growth from President Trump's tariffs rollout. That was according to remarks made in the last 60 minutes by the head of the IMF. In a speech ahead of the spring meetings next week, she conceded that the stop-start US tariffs plans has fueled market volatility not seen since the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, some of Asia's major exporters, Vietnam, Japan and Taiwan, have opened.
You know, most drivers don't know that they can buy out their lease because it's not really talked about, right? It's not really talked about at the dealership. So the
open negotiations with Washington. Well, let's hear a little more of what the head of the IMF has been saying.
Trade distortions, tariffs, and non-tariff barriers have fed negative perceptions of a multilateral system seen to have failed to deliver a level playing field. We see these distortions in the following two graphs. The first tells us that while in the first 2 decades of this century, the world saw a good convergence toward a low and stable US effective tariff rate, progress stalled in the last decade.
Well, let's speak to Paul Johnson, the director of the Institute for Fiscal Studies, who's here, as you see, in the studio with me. What do you make of a pretty clear-eyed assessment there of where we are?
Yeah, a pretty strong statement or restatement of the argument against tariffs, of the reasons why what President Donald Trump has done is going to undermine growth across the world. The extent to which this has created enormous uncertainty for businesses and in markets, and the scale of the risks that we all face over the next period. Now, the IMF's central forecast is that we won't have a worldwide recession, but they have significantly downgraded their view about what growth will be as a direct result of the actions of the White House. And of course, there are risks alongside that if the markets react worse than is currently expected.
Lots even now that we don't know, because we don't know how long and where this trade war and tariffs is actually going to go in the coming months. And therefore, we don't know the amount of hit to growth we're going to actually see. You talk about the risks as well. Tell me more about the risks you see in all of that then.
Yeah, I mean, what you've described is part of the problem. Companies, indeed countries, find it very hard to respond when there's so much uncertainty. We don't know what the US is going to do over the next few months. So even if tariffs have a positive effect, for example, in the US over the long run, and that's a big if firms don't know what's going to happen to those tariffs, they can't even plan for that. And in the same way, countries can't really plan for how they are going to trade with the US over this period. Now, what we've seen up till now has been wild gyrations in the stock markets, which affect everybody's pensions and savings. We've also seen an increase in the cost of US government debt. This is an indication that the world is beginning to get actually quite worried about investing money into the United States. Now, if that starts to snowball, if we have more, if we have a return to the kinds of tariffs that we had the 90-day pause on, then you can imagine markets going down again very dramatically, and people really losing confidence in what has for a long, long time been the world's most stable, biggest economy, and essentially where people put their money to keep it safe.
And remarkable levels of uncertainty, because you and I were just chatting a moment or two ago. We were looking at what Donald Trump has posted on Truth Social, his attack on the Fed chair. He's really going after him, and people in America are actually openly talking about the possibility of whether Donald Trump could fire him. I don't think constitutionally he can, but he is really going to war with the Fed chair.
Yeah, and it's really quite worrying. I mean, this is another attack on economic institutions, which actually served the US and the world pretty well for a long period of time. If he really tries to unseat the chair of the Fed, that's going to create more turmoil. And of course, the chairman is only doing his job. I mean, their job is to keep a stable inflation rate. Well, what are tariffs going to do in the US? They're going to increase inflation. That's going to reduce the chances that interest rates come down. Of course, what Donald Trump is saying is, I want you to cut interest rates. Well, if his job is to keep inflation down, he's not going to be cutting them certainly as fast as elsewhere.
Paul Johnson, great to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to us here on Verified Live.
So you think you know Wix, but do you really?
So yeah, basically, Trump wants him to cut interest rates, and it's not happening. And you know what? He's not gonna, because the Fed chair, like you said, he can't constitutionally do anything. He can't fire him because it is a private institution, guys. Just because it says Federal Reserve does not mean that it's a federal institution. And if you think that the Federal Reserve is part of the federal government, you've been mistaken, you've been misled, you've been lied to, just like everything else that they teach us. So just so you know, and one more little clip bit for you guys here before we go on to read the last article. But these news articles are important to know, guys. It's important to know this stuff and stay on top of these things, because if you know, I can just blabber it all to you, but the idea is for you guys to understand what's going on and why I'm getting what I'm getting.
With God's grace over these past 3 months, and we have had a great 3 months. They say maybe the best 3 months ever for a president. And I think there's a whole new spirit in our country.
So there's the president making the case about America having momentum. He says world leaders are lining up to negotiate new trade deals, and another major partner is coming to the table. In fact, today, and another one tomorrow, and on we go. It's Thursday. Good morning, everybody. Live in New York, I'm Bill Hemmer. How we feeling over there?
Good. How are you?
Excellent.
Great. I'm Dana Perino, and this is America's Newsroom. On this Thursday, President Trump is set to meet with one of our top European allies, the Prime Minister of Italy. So the two are expected to talk trade. This after yesterday's talks with a Japanese delegation. The president touting big progress out of that one.
So meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal is shedding light on the administration's strategy. It says the White House is using the talks to further isolate China, asking a lot of their trading partners to limit the dealings that they may have in the future in exchange for relief on tariffs and a good deal with the U.S.
And House Republican Conference Chair Lisa McClain, she's on deck. But first, let's get to Alexandria Hawk. She's live at the White House. Hi, Alex. Good morning.
Hi, good to be with you. You know, from the European Union's perspective, Prime Minister Meloni is the bridge that they need. You've heard the term Trump whisper being tossed around there. But the fact of the matter is Meloni and President Trump have a good relationship. Compliments have been shared. She actually even attended the president's inauguration. So the EU hopes that today's meeting will help sell the president on a zero-for-zero tariff deal that the EU has been seeking. Meloni, of course, is going to also want to preserve her own good standing. This morning, President Trump highlighted today's meeting and talks with other countries who have been driven to the table. He posted this morning, had a very productive call with the president of Mexico yesterday. Likewise, they met with the highest-level Japanese trade representatives. It was a very productive meeting. Every nation, including China, wants to meet today. Italy. Now, there was some surprise that the president was directly involved with the Japanese delegation who was in Washington yesterday, because those talks were seen as preliminary. But the White House says it was important to the president. On China, the White House reiterated this.
The ball is in China's court. They need to do business with the United States. They need the best thing on the face of the planet, and that is the American consumer.
Well, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is concerned about dampened consumer spending and said tariff increases went beyond what banks were anticipating.
The effects of that are likely to move us away from our goals. So,
solar costs more than my last divorce. Not with Project Solar. They beat competitor pricing by up to 50%.
Up to 50%? How is that possible?
Unemployment is likely to go up as the economy slows in all likelihood, and inflation is likely to go up as tariffs find their way.
Now, President Trump believes that interest rates should be cut. Now, the Federal Reserve Chair, he says that he wants some clarity on tariffs first, but how much time he has to wait is really put in question this morning as the president posted Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. Dana.
All right, Alex, thank you so much. Looking beautiful there in the White House sunshine. Thank you.
So let's bring in Michigan Congresswoman Lisa McClain, House Republican Conference Chair, and good morning to you. Let's get right into it. Here's Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, talking about those who go to the front of the line will get a better deal. Watch here.
I think there will be advantage to our allies, especially, and a first mover advantage. Usually the first person who makes the deal gets the best deal. So
who do you think will be first?
It's their choice.
Japan, you got Italy today and South Korea tomorrow. Here's the issue about this whole idea about isolating China. There was a loophole from the trade deal USMCA in 2018, and the loophole was it allowed China to move factories into Mexico and then sell the products the Chinese made in those factories to the American consumer. And right now, this administration's they're trying to prevent that. Do you have an inclination that whether it's Japan or China or Italy or Germany, anyone else down the line, that they're willing to play ball with the U.S. on that deal and close forever that loophole?
My inclination is yes, and I think you've already seen actions towards that. President Trump, what he's trying to do, and we've talked about this over and over again, is trying to level the playing field honestly and move in the right direction, trying to close the loophole. Look, he's trying to bring manufacturing back to the United States and back to, most importantly, our allies, not our adversaries like China. And he's talking about it, but more importantly, people and countries are acting upon it. And that's the positive that you're seeing. And if I can just say one more thing is, look at the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan is number 3 behind California and New York for manufacturing jobs lost. That's horrible for our state. That's horrible for our constituents. President Trump is fixing that. He wants to bring jobs back to the United States. And more importantly, for me, he wants to bring jobs back to Michigan. So we're actually excited and giving him some grace and patience on this.
The Chinese are not waiting around. They are also on a, I don't know if I'd call it a charm offensive, but they're going around, especially to Southeast Asia, saying, don't you want to cut a deal with us? They spoke to the Europeans yesterday, and they have cheaper goods to sell, right? We might have a better message. We might have a better deal for them, and Bessent is saying, get to the table first. But yesterday, the Fed chairman warned this, that the impact of the tariffs will include higher inflation and slower growth. The president really didn't like that message from him and might not even want Jerome Powell to be around. Do you take the warning seriously from the Fed chair, or do you think he should go because he's not correct?
Listen, I have the full faith in President Trump, and the Fed chair can do what the Fed chair can do, and that is one potential outcome. But the other potential outcome that we're already working is we see people already coming to the table. We see countries coming to the table. Look at what Japan is doing. Look at all the investments that are coming back into America. $5 trillion, and those investments means jobs, right? So there is going to be some short-term discomfort. There's no question about that as we resettle and get the playing field level. But it's kind of like working out. You're going to have some short-term discomfort for long-term health. We have to do things differently because we are tired of America being taken advantage of. And I have full faith in President Trump that he'll do that.
Sounds like we got to hydrate. That's what I take from that answer. On the tax cuts and this budget reconciliation idea, it's a stunning thing to hear Republicans even considering the possibility of raising taxes. From North Dakota, here is Senator Kevin Cramer, Republican. Here's what he said. He said, it's just so fun to be a Republican these days, just to watch the transformation where suddenly people are going. When you think about it, why do we worry so much about that? So whether it's allowing them to go up a little bit or even lowering some of the other stuff more, there's a populism growing in the party, even among those of us with powdered wigs. That last line's kind of cute, I thought, end quote. If Republicans don't lower taxes, who will?
Nobody. I mean, the answer to that question is really simple.
So why even consider or entertain the possibility of raising the rate on some Americans?
Yeah, listen, I have no intention of raising the tax rates on anybody. The Republicans, we want lower.
They're not going to lower rates. They're
If
not
we
going
don't
to
extend
lower
and make
anything,
permanent
guys.
these Trump
It's the
tax
race to
cuts,
the bottom.
it will be the largest tax cuts that the American people
I don't
have to
see
deal
anything
with
happening
in probably
anytime
their
soon.
lifetime. I can
We'll
share
have to
with you
wait
for
and see.
Michiganders, if we don't make the Trump tax cuts permanent, $2,400 a year every Michigander will pay extra. As a business owner, of somebody who's grown and built their business from scratch, I like lower taxes because lower taxes means I can hire more people. I can invest in the business. I can be charitable to my community. I can give my employees more money. It just makes sense. The Democrats, they are the party of higher taxes. They want to tax you and make you dependent on the government. The Republicans want to give you an opportunity to work. And by doing that, we need to lower the tax rate.
Yes, inflation means no lower rates. And
So then just quickly,
the employment sector, there are more jobs than expected, so they're not going to lower rates.
No on any resolution that would raise taxes?
Lisa McClain is not for raising taxes. I can share that with you. I haven't heard a lot of my colleagues who are interested in raising taxes. There's so much inefficiency. There's so much fraud, waste, and abuse. Raising taxes shouldn't even be on the table right now.
Got it. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday. It's been a busy.
Thank you all for watching. We do have one more news article to read. And if you are on TikTok, you can give to the Cash App or Venmo. That's Aussie 122-33-504. It's the sticker right there in the middle of the screen. So if you do want to give to the show and donate, all your donations are much appreciated. We do have quite a staff here to pay. We have not been making much revenue lately. So any donations you give are much appreciated. Please help support the show. Don't let us die. And you can always, if you don't want to donate and you want to get something out of it, you can become a subscriber and you're going to get access to those daily price point videos I post if you're looking to day trade. And with a deluxe subscription, you can message me directly and I will help coach you, help you set up your wallets. We can chat about whatever you like. However, I will not be taking messages on the weekends. I do need a little bit of time to myself. I've been receiving hundreds, if not thousands of messages, sometimes paragraphs long. So I do need a little bit of a break from here and there. But if, something crazy is happening in the market, I'll respond to you on the weekend. But there has to be some kind of reason to it. All right. One last article. Boom. California sues to block Trump's tariffs. California officials on Wednesday filed a federal lawsuit challenging President Trump's use of emergency powers to enact tariffs. The tariff plan hurts states, consumers, and businesses, according to Governor Gavin Newsom and State Attorney General Rob Bonta, noting that California is the largest economy in the nation with the most robust manufacturing and agricultural sectors. The lawsuit argues that Trump does not have the authority to unilaterally implement tariffs by invoking the International Economic Emergency Powers, or IEEPA. Yeah, and tariffs are supposed to be made by Congress, ladies and gentlemen. These tariffs are supposed to be enacted by Congress. These tariffs that they're putting in place are short-term. They're emergency powers that are granted when we're in a state of emergency. However, we have been in a perpetual state of emergency ever since those powers have been granted. So we will always be in a state of emergency because of it. These tariffs have disrupted supply chains, inflated costs for the state and Californians, and inflicted billions of damages on California's economy, the fifth largest in the world. President Trump's unlawful tariffs are weakening chaos on California families, businesses, and our economy, driving up prices and threatening jobs. Newsom said in a statement, "We're standing up for American families who cannot afford to let the chaos continue." So we'll see what happens. It may actually go through because he doesn't really have the ability to do it. At the same time, he does have the ability to do it. So it's kind of a catch-22. It really just depends on what the judges are going to do. But it looks like we're running in this little bull flag channel right here. I think we might be short-term bullish, guys. I think we have a bit of a descending channel bull flag thing forming here. Well, let's clean this up a little bit here. So this is a bit of a bull flag thing here. Looks like a descending wedge thing, maybe. And this is usually bullish and an indication of an upward push. Looks almost kind of like a double or triple bottom here. So we could see a push up out of this, and we could drop as low as $2 and still be within this. I think we'll hit that $2. But also, I'm seeing a bit of a head and shoulders right here. But I'm also seeing an inverted head and shoulders right here. So who knows? It could literally go anyway. And on top of that, we're in a massive we're in a massive let me see here. This is a massive descending channel right here on top of all of it. So right now, it's all about indecision, baby. We have no idea which way we're going right now. However, I think if this inverted head and shoulders plays out, it'll make for a nice little bull trap before it comes crashing back down. So I think we could see 230, 235 before we come back down. But we'll have to wait and see. It's very iffy. It's very iffy right now. Any trades that you're making right now are going to be very risky. So keep that in mind. We have a possible head and shoulders. We have a more macro from that. Inverted head and shoulders, and a more macro from that, a bearish downward trend. So keep that in mind. But however, if this is a descending channel and we do break out of it, and it's not a bull trap, it could, send us up to $4. But we'll have to wait and see. I think it's highly unlikely that it sends us up to $4. They always say sell in May, go away. I think more than likely we'll get the bull trap and then come back down, and we'll reach the zone here around 125 to 107, 106, 105-ish. And then maybe we'll come back up in August. So as for now, we're still bearish with a slight possibility of a small bullish push. So we got to keep an eye on it, guys. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. And thank you for watching the show. And if you missed the show or you want to see pre-recorded shows, you can watch them on YouTube. That's Oz the Crypto Goat, all lowercases, no spaces. And if you want a more professional quality viewing experience, you can watch on Twitch. That's Oz the Crypto Goat, all lowercases, no spaces. And if you would like to donate to the show to help support our staff and what we're doing here, you can donate that to Aussie 122-33-504 on Cash App or Venmo. So please help support the show, guys. Keep us going. And if you just want to give on TikTok, you can send in those Let 'em Cooks. We got 14 out of 20 Let 'em Cooks that we need. Let's see if we can reach that goal. Thank you all very much. I appreciate you all. And don't forget, Cash App or Venmo at Aussie 122-33-504. That's that little sticker right there in the middle of the screen. You can send that, any donations there. Thank you very much for your support. Aussie Nate, thank you. I appreciate you as well. HD Malicious, thank you very much. I appreciate you. All of you who came over to Twitch, you guys are real ones. I really appreciate it. I know that TikTok is very addicting and it is hard to get away from. I see a lot of you, you'll come on Twitch and then jump over back to TikTok because I get it. The dopamine hit isn't there. It's not the same as you get from TikTok. So those of you that have the ability to leave TikTok, it takes immense mental fortitude to do so. So commend yourselves, those of you that watch on Twitch every day that came from TikTok. Not everybody has the mental fortitude to do that. So much appreciated to you guys. You guys are warriors. Warriors. And don't forget, if you are on TikTok, to definitely come over to Twitch. That's Oz the Crypto Goat, all lowercases, no spaces. And I will be posting these videos on YouTube. So don't forget, guys. Yeah. Have a good night.